need your likes to be able to grow this channel. We're going to be talking about important stuff. What are we talking about today, Susie?
Oh my gosh, we have a lot of news out of the United Kingdom today. We will also be talking about a persecuted ex-Muslim and some updates on his case. That's very important for people to know about. And then also some very interesting news coming out of Saudi Arabia, which is kind of not what we usually talk about during the show. Like, it's not strictly religion related, but it was just too good and too interesting. I was like, no, we have to talk
my
about
God,
this.
I just saw the title. Yeah, okay. Yeah, no, that's very important.
Yeah, it falls outside what we normally cover, but I was like, oh no, we got to talk about this.
Yeah. By the way, before we get started, let's thank our angel. Just right at the beginning of the show already, we got
Yes, Angel gave a super chat saying, good morning, everyone. Question, though, for our favorite AR faces. Oh, my God. Would you rather I donate or super chat the $100? The messages are fun, but I just like supporting Atheist Republic. Oh, and don't forget to comment and subscribe.
Yes, please.
Angel, your support makes a huge difference to us, no matter how you give it. When you give in super chat, obviously a percentage does go to YouTube. But while we're live, we turn on the super chats because people love it so much. And then after it's over, then it turns into a donate button, right? So really, that's like a personal decision for you. I do absolutely love to acknowledge the major contributions that you give to our entire community, because everyone benefits from your generosity. And I think you deserve to be recognized for that. And that's just easier to do with super chat, because the donation function is like, it doesn't let us like pull it up in the screen or whatever. But if you make the decision that, you just want to make sure all your money goes to AR because that's more efficient, so you only want to do the donate, that's, totally fine. It's really just up to
I prefer the super chat because it's just so much. It's just so wholesome to see, like, we get to brag about having an angel.
Yeah, that's true. Our guardian angel.
Yes. I like bragging about having an angel like that. Okay, so guys, please make sure you like the stream, and also say in the live chat that you have liked the stream, so that we could show that this is it's very important. We wouldn't be asking you to like the stream if it wasn't if it didn't have a major impact on growing the channel. Our channel is growing really, really fast, and faster than before, and it's because you guys like and comment and hit the subscribe button and the notification. The notification bell as well. That's very important, so do that. Gaijin America is saying happy Pride Month. Well, happy Pride Month to you, Gaijin. And also D is saying
congratulations to Apostate Prophet for hitting 500,000 subscribers.
Nice.
Now our prophet has 500,000 subscribers. That's insane.
Right. Let's get it to 1 million. Let's get our the bigger AP grows, the bigger the entire ex-Muslim awareness becomes. So this benefits all of us. So yeah, it's good that we have an ex-Muslim with 500,000 subscribers. It's really good. So yeah, please, guys, I'm sure most of you are subscribed to his channel anyways, but if you're not, Apostate Prophet, make sure you support, and also support Harris Sultan, Friendly Ex-Muslim, and all the other ex-Muslim YouTube channels. Zara K, yes.
Yeah.
And Vidu Vids is back, so I think he's active.
Yes, I love Vidu. Yeah. Oh my God, he's the best.
Yes.
He's such a good dad too.
Yeah.
He's genuinely such a good father. Like, that is huge for me. That's so. Anyways, Susie also said, I can only support by liking and sharing at the moment, which I do every time. Thank you, Susie. That is still
Thank you.
huge for us. You are feeding the algorithms. You are helping us tithe and worship at the altar of the YouTube gods. And that itself is a huge contribution, which is a good reminder. We always say, don't support us if you can't support yourself. You should always be taking care of yourself first. Susie is being fiscally responsible. We love to see it. I hope y'all are paying on your debts, making your monthly payments before you donate to us.
Yes. Please do not donate to us or any other content creator if you are not financially in a stable place. Please, it's irresponsible. Do not do that. Okay, just like and subscribe. That's already a lot of help.
Oh, and Dee is also mentioning Nuria Khan, known as the what is it? The Holy Humanist. Holy Humanist is her channel.
Nice.
Yep.
All right. So let's get started with the news. And I see.
Oh my lord.
This Iran related.
My lord.
Is it? Okay. Is it clappable? Are we clapping?
I mean, I don't know, because people did get assaulted and actually like pretty hurt. Or we could clap because we're going to be calling out some Islamist regime supporters that we hate, and we love to call them out and flame them. So what should we clap or no clap?
Yeah, let's clap. Okay. Because I think they're all their faces are on camera, so I'm hoping that they're gonna get arrested or whatever at some point. But anyways, so yeah, let's just clap for. Okay. First news.
Islamists attack Iranian dissidents in the United Kingdom. The recent violent clash between supporters of the supporters of the Iranian regime and anti-regime dissidents in London has sparked outrage and calls for action. The incident unfolded on May 24th when dissidents protested outside a vigil honoring the late Iranian president Ibrahim Raisi, who earned the notorious moniker Butcher of Tehran for his role in the mass killings of political prisoners in 1988. As Niak Ghorbani, an Iranian activist present at the scene, recounted, quote, "Today, the Islamic Republic held a mourning ceremony in London for the death of its president. We coordinated with friends to show that Iranians are very happy about this event by dancing and celebrating." However, the peaceful protest took a violent turn as regime loyalists attacked the dissidents, leaving 4 people injured, with one person allegedly sustaining severe spinal injuries. The incident has sparked widespread condemnation, with figures like activist Masih Alinejad and Reza Pahlavi, the exiled crown prince of Iran, calling on British authorities to act against, quote, "the thugs of the Islamic Republic" and protect Iranians from violence perpetrated by supporters of the regime. So I wanted to talk about this because this was some absolute chaos that unfolded, and it was met with a very big reaction amongst the Persian community abroad. And so let us set the stage for people who maybe don't follow Atheist Republic, maybe you don't know what's going on. Okay, so Iran, the Islamic Republic of Iran, had a president recently, up until recently. And, Ibrahim Raisi is an evil man and a terrible president. He was illiterate. He can't even speak Persian very well. Has a history of dropping out of school at a very, 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 very young age. And also a history of being responsible for the deaths of thousands of his own citizens in mass political executions that happened in the 1980s. He was on something called the Death Council. And so people hate this man. He was a lapdog of the supreme leader, Ali Khamenei. And what had happened was that very recently, if you are not aware, he got stoned by a mountain. He was in a helicopter, and that helicopter crashed and burned. And him and a couple of other regime officials who I equally hate, including the foreign minister, as just being pieces of shit. They all died. And celebrations amongst the Iranian community unfolded across the world. We saw people distributing sweets in the streets of Tehran. We also saw Gazans, Gazan Palestinians distributing sweets, also celebrating this man's death.
Yeah.
Israelis distributing sweets as well. Everyone was just, sweets for everyone, candies for everyone. The witch is dead. And so there was an Islamic center in the United Kingdom that was holding a vigil and a mourning ceremony for Ibrahim Raisi's death. Well, a bunch of anti-regime activists in the United Kingdom didn't really appreciate this. And they wanted to be present to celebrate his death outside of this event to demonstrate that this is reflective of the attitude of many Iranians, right? Because a lot of Iranians feel extremely misrepresented in kind of global awareness about what they want and their attitudes and what they and what they desire, right? So Bull McLeod, thank you for the super chat. He said the president had some rock candy. Okay. You know what? So anyways, we have the anti-regime people and we have the regime people. And then they were like outside of this center. And then the regime loyalists started attacking the protesters. And this included a man coming up and assaulting a woman and kicking her with full force while she's already laying on the pavement screaming for help. And for a lot of people, this brings up a lot of feelings and memories and emotions about the abuse they suffered in Iran and the way in which the authorities in Iran will abuse women just straight up in the street, in public, assault them, kick them, just open violence towards women. And they're like, where are we? Are we in the United Kingdom or are we in Iran? Like, what's going on here? And so this is representative of kind of a pattern of transnational repression that has been ongoing, since the foundation of the Islamic Republic. There was also an incident that happened in near the Washington, D.C. area in the United States where there was a similar event and there were protesters at the event. And there was a man who represents the Iranian government vis-a-vis the Pakistani embassy or consulate. And he was signaling death threats to American activists. And so these activists came forward and said, like, we have no delusions about what this means. If I was in Iran, like, they would act on these threats, I would be dead. And this is emblematic of Iran's transnational repression. Armin and I have friends who are victims of transnational repression, people in our community. And the problem is that the regime oftentimes has Islamic centers or mosques that are in foreign countries around the world. And these are basically used as centers of the regime's tentacles to repress activists overseas, keep an eye on them, spy on them, document their whereabouts, and even, plan and execute kidnapping or assassination attempts. I feel like I was rambling a little bit. Did this make sense? Okay. Oh, this is actually a good thing to bring up. So according to some reports I was reading, 4 people were injured. Some reports I was reading is saying that someone had their leg broken. They got their leg broken by this assault. And then Nayak Gorbani, who is an activist in the UK, who we've been following recently, and we've talked about him before on this channel. he was saying that the UK Metropolitan Police report was wrong, that he had a friend who suffered spinal injury. That's what he says. I haven't seen that reported in the news, so that's just an FYI. But Armin, this was a huge story that blew up. Like, I want to know what you heard on the Persian side of things, because you keep your ear to the ground.
Yeah, so a lot of Iranians in the UK were shocked because the assumption is that this is not what you can do in the UK. This is what you could do to us, the people who are against the Iranians, against the regime. This is what the regime can do to Iranians in Iran. They never, like, even people, they didn't assume that this is the experience of being an Iranian in Iran right now. They never, once you leave Iran, once you come to a civilized country with laws and everything, like Canada or US or the UK or France and Germany, then you think like, okay, this is my safe zone. This is a area where these things cannot happen to me. So they're like, holy crap, these people, these government officials have the audacity to treat us like we're in Iran. Like, even here, they are treating us like this. Let me actually, so I'm going to play this now. I played it once without audio. Now let's play it once again with audio to just see. So the people behind these bars these are the Islam. This is in London, okay? These are the Islamic Republic's government officials, and the people behind on the other side of the bar, because the ceremony was in memorial of Raisi, they were there with their flags and dancing and singing to just like, and they were so pissed. I couldn't. It was so interesting to see that they were so pissed to see them celebrating. And remember, the flag that they're waving is the actual flag of Iran. The current flag that you see of Iran is the one with the Allah sign in the middle of it. Most Iranians don't believe in that flag. Most Iranians believe in the flag that has the lion and the sun in the middle. And that's the flag that they're waving. So let's actually watch the whole thing. So the woman is shouting the name of the people who were killed in Iran, the people, Javidnams, the people that their names will not forget, the people that were the heroes of the master revolution that were killed by the regime. So she's shouting their names. So this guy is yelling. So this is in the UK, and he says this is an Iranian regime official. So we can fuck you here, like we can fuck you here. Like he's threatening them. Like, no, you shouldn't be able to. This is not Iran. This is the UK. Look, now this is the part that was shocking. They ran out and started attacking. Like even the woman is shocked. Like she couldn't believe that this is happening in London.
So she's screaming help in Persian.
So first it was, she's saying "Mardom, like people help us."
Or Cormac.
Now she look. What the hell? So she's saying Cormac, help. So I don't understand. Is he arrested? By the way, YouTube, we don't endorse any of this. This is like we're like condemn all of this. Please do not strike us down. But like his face, like he assaulted a woman, kicking her while she was on the ground. Is he arrested? Like what? So when the police arrived, these people went back into the was this the embassy building?
No, this is just like an Islamic center.
Just an Islamic center? Okay, yeah. So when they went back into the building, the police showed up and they took some of the people's phones away and went into the building. And the police said, "Yeah, I can't go into the building." So even though they had their phones, yeah.
What?
So
I didn't see that reported.
Yeah, the police. Yeah, well, I mean, That's what I heard. But can we? Do you know what happened? Did they get arrested or are they free? What
So
happened?
my understanding is that they are still investigating and that one person has been arrested.
Okay. Well, multiple people were assaulting, so multiple people should be arrested.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So,
Yeah.
by the way, do you want me to? I know you know what this means, but should I explain what this is to?
Wait, I haven't seen this before. What?
No, so
Helicotlet. Oh, oh, this
the
is
people here, there's a helicotlet. Like ever since this whole thing happened, people came out and made the helicotlet meme trending. And if people don't know what helicotlet is, ever since when Qasem Soleimani was killed by the US, people saw it, what was remained of him, and it really looked like cutlet, which is an Iranian dish. So now they always refer to Qasem Soleimani as Qasem Cutlet.
yeah, it's like a little
And
meat
now
and
that
potato patty.
yes. So now that Raisi died in the helicopter crash, and his body was burned as well. So people assume that he turned into a cutlet as well. So they refer to him as helicotlet now. So that's I just want to
You
ignore
know
your
what's so
meme.
so now Iranians literally celebrate the day that Qasem Soleimani died as Cutlet Day.
Yeah, yeah.
And what
A cutlet
happened?
day, people.
Yeah, what happened last year is that there was a cooking influencer in Iran who just posted a video about the recipe to make cutlet like on that day, and he got arrested for it. So imagine like your government just comes and arrests you because you posted the recipe to a dish. The other thing, Armin, is that last year there were a lot of protests going on, in support of the Muslim Revolution still at the time. And I went to a protest on this day, and my friend was there, and he was distributing cutlet to everyone at the protest, and they were shaped like little hearts. Yeah. Do you like cutlet, by the way?
Oh my god, it's so good. You have no idea.
I'm going to be honest, I'm a little bit mixed on it.
Oh, have you had cutlet?
Yes, I have.
So if you're mixed on it, then you haven't had like I don't know, somebody screwed it up. You cannot be mixed on cutlet. It's pretty good.
We'll go talk to Bobak about that. No.
Oh, okay. No, then it's his fault. Like cutlet is good. Maybe my mom's cutlet was amazing. So I don't know about Bobak.
Oh my god.
My mom's cutlet. Yeah.
So Armin, I'm very curious. Like in our Persian community, what was the reaction to these assaults?
A lot of disappointment with UK officials because so
get used to it.
Also an assumption, like a more confirmation that to a lot of Iranians think that Europe is becoming Islamized, and the Islamic Republic of Iran has a major influence on it, and they think like they're expanding their territory to Western countries. And again, some of them believe that very much. Some people believe it's exaggerated, but this video coming out of it, them watching this being done to Iranians on foreign soil, was a confirmation to a lot of Iranians that Europe is becoming Islamized, and the Islamic officials are feeling more and more free to treat everywhere on the planet like it's in Iran.
Yeah.
That's what.
Yeah, the transnational repression is super real, and it can be straight up deadly. So before we move to the next story, we have a few super chats. GJ is celebrating his membership. Thank you, GJ. And he said, illiterate, referring to Raisi. That's following the prophet. You know what? You have a point, sir. You have a point. John Bundock also gave super chat thank you, saying Khomeinists can only cope via misogyny. Pathetic. Yep, it's kind of as classic as it gets. And then this person, I don't know how to pronounce this, Quadrant Tourist, saying, have you heard about the knife attack in Mannheim, Germany 2 days ago? And basically, yes, I have heard about this. Is huge news. You know, it happened 2 days ago, so we didn't have time to do a full like write up and stuff, but I think I want to touch on it at the end of the show, to be honest, because it's
Right.
really important. And
So,
Flying Robot Duck
yeah, I
gave
just want
$1 super chat. Thank you.
thank you so much. That was the first super chat he or she did on this channel. So thank you so much for doing that. By the way, guys, we're not here to break the news for you guys. You guys get the news somewhere else. We're just here to just talk about it with you guys in the live chat, right? So if you're like, oh, we're not gonna do it right away as soon as it comes out. We're gonna, sometimes we can't do that, but even if we can, we want to see what people talk about it, what people say about it, some of the reactions to it. So it will. This is mostly us just reviewing what happened and how people react to things rather than just breaking news. This just happened yesterday, kind of thing. Oh, we got 2 more super chats.
Yeah, we are clearly not journalists. Our role here is not to be journalists.
Yeah.
I hate to break it to you if you thought otherwise. And Kenny gave a super chat. Thank you, Kenny. And GJ also sent a super chat. Thank you. Saying some other news. Senior American citizen Bill Werner, Dr. Bill Werner, founder of Center for the Study of Political Islam in Internat, posted 2 weeks ago that his health is now waning and limiting him. Oh, well, I'm not familiar with this person.
Oh, thank you so much. I think Bill Warren, is that the guy that read books about Islam that was looking at everything statistically? Because I read a couple of his books many years ago. If that's the same guy that I think I read his books. Let me see. Bill
Former physics
Warner.
professor and anti-Islam writer.
Yes, I read like I think his books are very short, so I think like I just read 3 or 4 of his books. They're very, very short, small, to the point books. It looks at everything in the Quran and Hadith like very statistically, like counts the numbers of how many times violence is used, and it's pretty good. It's pretty good intro. Okay, so you have these comment start? Is that what you wanted to do?
Oh no, that was just something I wanted you to see for internal consumption.
Okay, great. Yes, thank you.
Okay, so let's go to the next story. I don't want to clap for this because this makes me sad.
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh well, next news then.
Next news, criticize Islam, go to jail. Egyptian ex-Muslim faces a 9-year sentence. The sentencing of Egyptian ex-Muslim atheist Sharif Gabr to an additional 5 years in prison, bringing his total sentence to 9 years for merely criticizing Islam, has sparked international outrage and condemnation. Gabr's crime was producing online content that Egyptian authorities deemed insulting to Islam and to Allah, as well as inciting atheism, acts prohibited under Egypt's constitution and penal code, despite Gabr's insistence that he never called on others to abandon their faith. In a poignant YouTube video titled 9 Years in Prison for Criticizing Islam, the defiant activist, who has been on the run since his initial arrest in 2018, expressed dismay over the harsh sentence levied simply for expressing his views, raising grave concerns about the state of freedom of expression and human rights in Egypt. Gabr's plight has reignited fierce debate over blasphemy laws, the treatment of apostates, and the policing of religious criticism in Muslim-majority nations that pay lip service to democratic values while cracking down on dissent. Oh my gosh. So this is something I really wanted our community to highlight, because are there no subtitles on the video on the version you downloaded, Armin?
There doesn't seem to be one. I could go look and see if there's another one with the subtitles.
On YouTube, there are subtitles. Wow. So basically, if you guys are not familiar with Sharif Gabbar, like, he is legitimately one of my top heroes. He is a incredibly brilliant YouTuber who makes stunningly beautiful videos about like criticizing Islam or unpacking certain elements of like Islamic narrative, and he does acting, and it's directed and shot beautifully, like literally like the cinematography is like the directive, like artistic vision of this is just beautiful. Like he is like a good cinematographer in and of itself. um and basically he was arrested in 2018, and then since then he has been in hiding. He's been living in hiding for 6 years in Egypt, and he has been trying everything in his power to escape Egypt for the past 6 years. He has reportedly moved 14 times. He lives by himself. He doesn't leave the house like ever. Like he's just on the run. He has been on the run for since 2018, and he is still producing. I don't know how. He is still producing beautiful videos. Some of the I'm like, dude, you are in hiding. Like, how do you produce such stunning work under your circumstances? I don't get it. Um and so he is an incredible voice in the Arabic speaking ex-Muslim community. Incredibly needed, extremely poignant. His work has millions of views, and it's often quite like humorous and very insightful. So, and I really encourage everyone to go look up his work. So his name is Sharif Gabbar. He has English subtitles on all his videos. So I legitimately just love watching them. So like please go show him some support on his work, because it really deserves celebration. And previously, part of the reason why he was on the run was because he had 2 sentences against him, and each one was for 2 years in prison. Now, if this man was actually put in Egyptian prison, he would probably almost certainly be murdered. So that's not an option. He can't go serve his sentence, and that's why he's been on the run. And so he has been in hiding for 6 years now to avoid a 4-year sentence that would probably result in his murder. And now it was just announced that he received an additional sentence of 5 years, bringing up his total sentence of time he is supposed to serve to 9 years. And he posted about this in a video recently where he was saying, like, I have been living this horrible life for 6 years with the purpose of trying to escape a 4-year sentence. And now it's been brought up to 9 years. And basically, like, it makes me so upset because he is such such a genius, honestly, in the level and quality of work that he produces, and to see him be treated like this and to what he has to go through. Yeah, Space Ellie is saying, I saw that video, my heart broke. It's, he's at his wit's end and has tried everything to escape Egypt. And in this recent video, he talks about how he spent over a year planning the next escape that he was going to attempt, and that this attempt either resulted in his freedom or he would be dead. And right before he was supposed to follow through with it, he decided, no, I'm not going to risk it, because the people that hate me would want to see me dead. And so now he remains stuck in Egypt still. And he's been through such hardship, such isolation, such deprivation. And now it just got even worse. And he's finding it hard to, in the video, he talks about how he's like, I don't know how much longer I can hold on, but I can hold on a little bit longer for now. And one of the things that I thought was really poignant in his video was he talks about how he's in hiding and what's it like. And he's saying, like, I know what would happen if I was identified when I'm outside the house. And he basically says, I'd be lynched in the street. I'd be lynched and murdered in the street. And then he reflects and he says, and then when that happens, Egyptian society would look at itself and say, oh, what are we? Afghanistan? But he's like, but I know the nature of the society that I'm living in. And it tires me, it exhausts me. And I don't know how much more I can go on. And this is why it's so important to highlight the cases of the real ex-Muslims who are living in these countries, doing this work while they are still living there, while it is most dangerous, and the cost and sacrifices that they pay, right? Like Armin and I, we get to live in countries where like these rights are guaranteed to us. So this is why both of us often say, like, we're not that brave. Because the likelihood is we probably wouldn't do this if we lived in a different country, in a different context, where these rights are not guaranteed to us, where we would not be protected for what we have to say, you know, by the authorities. Like, it's people like Sharif Gabor who are truly the brave ones. And it's mind-boggling to me. It's completely mind-boggling to me. And what really broke my heart was that after he posted this video, he had some tweets that he put out. And in his tweets that he put out, he basically said, like, the videos that I made was not worth it.
Oh. God damn.
It just breaks my heart.
He regrets doing all of this.
Yeah. He's a young man. Like, he should be living his life. But he's in limbo. He's stuck. Armin, I sent you this. Go ahead.
No, so just to be clear, he is on the run right now in Egypt in hiding. If they find him, so he's still making videos while in hiding in Egypt, and if they find, he's trying to get out of Egypt. He has tried every way possible, and he can't get out of Egypt. The last way that he was trying to find to get out of Egypt could have got him killed, and that's why last minute he didn't go with it. But that's why right now he doesn't leave his house. He's like where he's living. He just stays inside. If they find him, he will go to prison for 9 years and very likely be killed in prison while he's in prison. And all of this, and his life has been made a living hell for the past couple of years. He wasted everything. He wasted, like, his life is wasted as a young person. He's always in hiding, always on the run, all for just making educational videos. And given that he lives in Egypt, he has been very careful. His videos have not been offensive. Like, he doesn't make, like, the way we talk about Islam or other ex-Muslims like Apostate Prophet or Harris Sultan, that we talk about Islam. We're
nothing like that.
Nothing like that. He was very, like, he's just talking about science, the beauty of science, the beauty of critical thinking and free thinking and coming to your conclusions on what he thinks. Nothing insulting, nothing aggressively against Islam. And that's his crime. Like, he didn't kill anybody, he didn't con anybody, he didn't sell any drugs. And for that, he's on the run. For that, his life is ruined, right? So I don't know, what can anyone do? And people who want to help, what can they do? There's no way to help.
I don't know. In the comment of his video that he posted, he had a comment that he pinned that was like, if anyone has ideas or can help, like, please contact me. I'm not sure how people are able to contact him. Maybe he has like a Telegram or something.
Twitter.
At the same time,
Message.
like, I'm sure he's tried absolutely everything.
Hold on, let me see. I messaged him a couple of years ago, and he responded.
Yeah, because when he first was on the run, it was like a year or two before I got involved with the Atheist Republic. And by then he was already like really in deep shit. But what was I sent you the video that he posted. And what was your?
I messaged him.
Mhm.
I messaged him in 2019. Okay, I asked him how can I show. Should I show this on the screen or no?
No.
A private message.
Don't do it.
But he's very okay. So I'm not going to read his private message. I just want to say he's just such a great person. That's all I'm going to say, right?
Yeah.
And even if you can't do anything, the fact that you're trying, he's grateful for it, right? Because a lot of people send him suggestions that absolutely do not work. Like he's flooded with, like, imagine you have looked into so many ways to get out, and you have looked at all the details, and you are now an expert in how to smuggle out of Egypt, right? And all the ways. And then your inbox is flooded with basic recommendations that you already know it doesn't work, and you have to go through thousands of messages of people acting like they are experts at things, that know things that you have never considered, and you have to like read all of
Absolute
that.
dog shit advice.
Right. Yeah. So a lot of people are kind of wasting his time, and it makes it difficult for him to actually find the good suggestions with people that actually do have the connections or do have the knowledge to help him. But even with all of that, he still doesn't. He's very grateful. Like anybody who's trying, even if it's not going to work, he's very sweet. He's very grateful, right? So he's
And
such a
whenever
good person. It's just he
it's
doesn't. He's like doesn't deserve, like, one of the last people on the planet that deserves this happening to him. But yeah, go on.
I know. And it's so sad. Whenever he tweets anything, his replies are just filled with people in Arabic basically just preying on his downfall. Just telling
Yes.
him
Oh
that they're
my
waiting
God.
for his downfall.
Yes. I just
Filled.
saw the comments of
Flooded.
this video. People, and the comments on this video, I saw people like saying like, "Oh, you were Israel's agent to fight against Islam, and now you're screwed because they are not helping you. Like, the Jews, they just send you guys to basically fight Islam, and then when you need their help, they don't care about you. They just use you as a pawn." So people are laughing at him, people are insulting him, people are enjoying his misery. The comments are filled with like Muslims who are just like can't wait for him to like eventually be captured so they can mock him. And that actually gets to you, because when I notice when Sheriff is making his decisions, all of these people hating on him, he doesn't want to make them happy, right? He doesn't, like, it gives him motivation not to die. Like he says, like, I don't want to make these people happy. Like, it's not just I want to live, I also just don't want to die, just so that all these haters do not get to celebrate my death.
Yo, I'm not gonna lie. I have a similar personality type where I'm like, I will go survive and prosper out of spite.
Yeah. Like, yeah. God damn.
Yeah.
How hateful do you have to be to see such a man that did nothing but make videos, and you're now enjoying his life being ruined like this?
It's extremely hateful. Yeah. So I really wanted to talk about it because paying attention to and really elevating and bringing awareness to what the ex-Muslim activists who are doing this work in the hardest places on earth are dealing with, what they face, what they go through, the cost of their lives and the risks that they face and the sacrifices that they make and the hardship that they're going through and the way that they're persecuted. It really needs to be exposed on a wide scale, and we need to help them as best as we can. Whether sometimes it's signing a petition, or like for the persecuted ex-Muslim atheist Nigerian activist Mubarak Bala, like donating to his legal campaign, like all that stuff makes a huge difference.
So can you read this tweet? This is Sheriff Gabber's tweet.
Yeah, the tweet that he put out. It says, "I regret making the videos. It wasn't worth it. And for the first time in my life, I feel like the end is near. And I feel like nothing in the world is worth fighting for. I'm lost. I'm alone. I'm depressed. And the pain is too much to handle. I'm too weak to fight."
But then we had another this one. Oh, this
was
older.
from last year. Yeah.
Oh, so this is when he was more hopeful. So, but now he's less hopeful. But yeah,
it's a breathe one day at a time. You can handle this just a little bit more. It takes time to win a great battle.
Yeah. So
and
this
there are
was
people
before, but now
dancing and celebrating the fact that they're breaking this man.
They're like, this is when you had hope, but now we managed to break you. Now you have no hope. God damn it.
Yeah.
That's just evil. Imagine these are the people who think that they have the moral high ground. They look at us and they're like, how could you have morality? You guys are filth. Like, they tell us that we're filth, we're disgusting, we have no code, we have no limitations in what we do. And this is what they represent. This is what they do. And they think that they are actually doing a good thing because, people like Sheriff are obviously, when you're fighting Islam, you must be on the evil side, and we're the good guys who are, so upside down. It's just amazing how people strongly believe things that are so clearly wrong.
Yeah. We got a few super chats, so thank you to everyone who's supporting the show. Ramo just gifted an Atheist Republic membership. Lovely. You can make use of the new emojis. I'm not going to say this name. Thank you for the super chat, though.
Why not?
Because no. Saying happy LGBT Pride Month. Would you please comment on homophobia under Islam? I mean, that's a
big topic.
That's a big topic.
I have a lot of videos on that if you search for it on our YouTube channel. So we covered the Quranic verses that encourages homophobia, and also specific hadiths that are extremely homophobic and transphobic. So I mean, I have videos on that if you want to go look it up. But yeah, I will probably make more of them in the future too, as it comes up, as it becomes relevant. So yeah, subscribe. We will probably have, unfortunately, I have to say that with the more Islam spreading in North America and Europe, we will have more examples of Muslims attacking the LGBT community. And whenever that happens, that will be one of those streams that I will do that will show you where these beliefs come from. I will show you the hadiths, I will show you the Quranic verses again. So if you subscribe, you will see those videos. Unfortunately, I could almost guarantee to you that you will see those videos coming at some point.
Yeah, I'm hoping that June is not a complete shit show. Oh, Zaid, hello. I hope I'm not too late. Hello, Habibi. I love you. And Angie Unier gave $2 saying self-expression is a crime in Islam. Unfortunately, it feels like this on a daily basis.
If you have the wrong beliefs. Guys, make sure you like the stream so more people end up seeing the stream. So please make sure you like the video. Thank you so much.
Yes.
And shame on you if you're not liking. Shame.
Oh, and Dean is here. Hi, Dean. Dean is the leader of our Atheist Republic South African community. So guys, go check out Atheist Republic Cape Town YouTube channel if you want to go get some atheist content in Afrikaans or Lesotho, or they also have some discussions in English, I think. Oh, and Kenny just gifted 5 Atheist Republic memberships. Thank you, Kenny. If you were just gifted one of these memberships, make sure you use the emojis. Oh, this is so sweet. Gina saying, Zaid, happy Pride. I know you can't celebrate, but still.
Oh,
Our
wow, this is,
LGBT Israeli celebrating Pride across the
yes,
border.
this is this is so beautiful. Jean is Israeli member of the LGBT, and Zaid is Palestinian member of the LGBT, and are Israeli. This is so beautiful. I like it. So from Israel, from an Israeli to a Palestinian, happy LGBT, happy Pride. This is so beautiful. Aww.
A single tear.
Oh. That's so sweet. I like that. Okay.
Okay, let's go to the next news. You know, I don't know if okay, okay. You know, we're gonna clap because I think I'm gonna go off a little bit.
Okay. That's good. I'm looking forward to this. Okay. Next news.
Next news. Mob unleashes hell upon Christians over burnt Quran pages in Pakistan. The situation in Pakistan continues to be a grim reminder of the dangers of religious intolerance and the fragility of minority rights. In the latest incident, a Christian father and son found themselves at the receiving end of a violent mob's wrath over allegations that the son had desecrated pages of the Quran. A district police chief, Assad Ijaz Malhi, grimly recounted, quote, the situation was highly volatile, with the mob demanding that the alleged blasphemer be handed over to them to face their wrath. That is code for be lynched in the street. Hundreds of enraged Muslims descended upon their home and shoemaking factory in Mujahid Colony, setting the premises ablaze and violently attacking the son before the authorities intervened. The incident underscores the pervasive climate of fear and persecution that religious minorities face in Pakistan, where even unsubstantiated blasphemy accusations can incite murderous rampages and the destruction of lives and livelihoods. As the authorities scramble to investigate and arrest those responsible, the attack serves as a chilling reminder of the urgent need to address deep rooted intolerance and protect the fundamental right of all citizens, regardless of faith. So, another incident of extreme mob violence against Pakistani Christians. So, some of you who've been following Atheist Republic for a while will remember that we covered an incident that happened last year where in a very similar circumstance where there was basically a accusation that some Christians had burnt pages of the Quran. I believe it came out later that this was completely framed and false. And thousands of people descended upon the Christian community in that area and ripped down crosses, burnt churches to the ground. Like it was chaos. People nearly died. And just like literal insanity. Like just literal insanity. The videos were so crazy. Nina is saying Pakistan has the worst version of Sunni Islam, right? Well, I mean, that's a complicated question. But so what happened here was very similar. So there were two dudes who made an allegation that they were walking outside this Christian family's home and they found two ripped pages of the Quran on the ground. I've also seen a reporter that they alleged that they were two pages of the Quran that had been burnt. And this rumor spread, and then soon enough, hundreds of people were descending upon this family's home, destroying it, beating the shit out of this dad and son, like unconscious on the ground, kicking this man while he's down, like beating him unconscious. I'm frankly surprised that he didn't die based on the videos that I saw. And so they destroy their home. And then this family also operates a shoe factory. So they set the entire shoe factory on fire. And while they do this, oh, haha, very funny. There's videos of people looting the shoe factory. So while the thing is on fire, or while they're destroying it, you see videos of people taking all the shoe boxes and throwing all the shoe boxes outside. And then all these other people, dozens of other people, are coming and stealing all of the shoes. But don't worry, guys. This is about protecting the honor of the prophet. Give me a frickin' break. So good job, guys. Now you have impoverished your community more because people are going to be out of a job because you just destroyed the livelihood of a small entrepreneur. Great job. Further depriving the community. But not that people necessarily care about that, because Pakistani Christians are treated like absolute dog shit. The treatment that Pakistani Christians face is horrible. Because I know some atheist activists in America, and they're like, "Oh my God, Christians aren't persecuted. What are you talking about?" I'm like, no. Christians are persecuted, just not in our country. Don't get me wrong. I would never want to be a Pakistani Christian. I would never want to be a Nigerian Christian. These are legitimately two of the worst countries in the world to be a Christian. Shockingly, Nigeria is the country you're most likely to be killed for being a Christian nowadays. Horrible, absolutely horrible. And it's so typical, and it's also just so embarrassing. Literally just random accusations, and everything is justified. Everything against these people are justified because supposedly someone desecrated a Quran, and who really cares anyways, because they're Christians, they're infidels, that's really what it seems like. Armin, what is your reaction to all this?
I mean, it's just normal day in Pakistan again. What is this? Everybody keeps saying "Oh, there we go with Pakistan." I don't know. It just seems like a semi-failed state that is just getting worse and worse. And I don't think the fact that they are inbreeding helps as well when it comes to where the average level of intelligence is going in Pakistan. I mean, the numbers are just so high. I mean, you have poverty, inbreeding, and Islam combined. You're going to get the most extreme versions of radicalism imaginable, right? I mean, I'm not making this up. This is not just an insult. This is an actual statistically. This is statistically to a level that is causing an issue. Am I wrong? I'm not just accusing Pakistan of this. This is actually a problem.
Okay,
I mean, am I wrong? You can't say I'm wrong.
It just hurts to hear you say it
out loud. I mean, we know that causes an issue, and it's
oh my God, Zaid. As a highly inbred person, I'm very offended, Armin. Damn.
What? Well, there are exceptions. Okay, I'm talking on average. On average, over a large number of population, it causes a problem. Okay.
No, when you look at the rates of consanguineous marriage in different regions, it's legitimately shocking. It's legitimately shocking. It's legitimately so shocking.
Yes. Let me just defend my the inbreds in the live chat, okay?
Oh my God.
Just like it's not guaranteed for Islam to make you, if you're a Muslim, you could be a genius Muslim, right? You could be poor and genius. You could be inbred and genius, right? I'm talking about the average results, right? The average results, and you could be the exceptions. But the average effect of Islam, poverty, and also having a population that is so, so widely inbred, this is not a good mix. This is a toxic mix, right? Oh my.
Sorry, this live chat is killing me. Not D dropping the Mufti Armin emoji. And Shuvo,
Yeah.
Inbred Genius is a great punk band name. Oh my god. Yo, that took a turn. Oh god. Oh, wait, actually, this reminds me. There is a video in the live chat. No, excuse me, not the live chat. In the article that I would really like to show. It's not very long. So if you scroll down, it's an interview of a Christian Pakistani man being interviewed.
This
yeah,
one?
right here. Yeah, I think I would like to watch this. I really liked what he had to say.
Hold on. Let me.
In the meantime, I'll read some super chats. Tyler Johnson just became a new member. Thank you for supporting the show, Tyler. And welcome to Satan's Minions. And GJ is saying, sounds and feels like Russian levels of resignation. Just another Tuesday. Now, to be fair, mob attacks against Christians, the last major one that happened was like a year ago. But the abuse they face on a daily basis is like just another Tuesday.
Can I just also clarify?
We'll speak about. Go ahead.
Can I I hope nobody thinks that what I'm saying is about all Pakistanis. Okay, I'm talking about averages. I'm talking about average results. You know what I'm saying is that I'm not generalizing what I'm saying to every single person in Pakistan out there. But this is just like I think people who know what I'm saying, they know what I'm saying. If you want to make this into something that I'm not saying, that's just you attempting to.
Well, yeah, you're saying if this is practice at scale, you are more likely to see on average certain results.
Yeah, this is scientifically what I'm saying. Scientifically proven. Like I'm not like saying, all Pakistani are this or that and that. This is just the effects of Islam, poverty, and also practicing. Having so many inbreds in a population in such a large scale, you will, again, even if we have exceptions, we have many exceptions, on average, this is not good for a country, and you can see the results. Yeah. There we go. And thank you, Kenny. Thank you. Kenny's saying you're giving scientific facts, not a value judgment. I mean, technically, I'm also doing a value judgment, but
on the basis of
value
harm.
Judgments on the basis of harm and scientific evidence. Yeah.
Okay, let's watch this video of this interview because I really liked what he had to say.
As a 27-year-old Pakistani Christian who has never been abroad since the day that I have been born and till the moment that I am standing over here, I and each Christian who calls himself a Pakistani lives under fear, lives under pressure, lives under a constant threat of being, God forbid, alleged to have committed blasphemy. And what has happened today in Sargodha is a realization of that. This begs the question whether the Punjab police, whether the Pakistani law enforcement agencies, be it the MI, be it the ISI, who are under a mandate to safeguard us, who are under a mandate to safeguard Pakistani Christians, who are under mandate to secure law and order situation all across Pakistan, instead of following their lawful duty, instead of ensuring what they get paid to do, they seem to be tacit facilitators of the perpetrators. And there seems to be, very unfortunately, I'm saying these words, but it seems to a 27-year-old Christian like me that there is this unsaid policy across the state, in every department of the state, that somehow, by hook or by crook, make things so hard for Christians that they are forced to flee from Pakistan sooner or later. I, as a Pakistani Christian, today, once again, am extremely ashamed of calling Pakistan. I am not ashamed of calling this my home, but I am ashamed at the people who I call my neighbors. I am ashamed of those who I reposed my trust into, that they would be safeguarding my rights, that that they would treat me as equal citizen, and that they would ensure my security as well. I am ashamed at them. I am ashamed at the Honorable Supreme Court of Pakistan as well. Although I call it honorable for legal reasons, but as a 27-year-old Pakistani Christian who has just witnessed another 70-year-old member of my community who's akin to my father.
Wow.
Yeah. I really felt like he spoke with a lot of clarity.
Yeah, it's not just that you have the mobs attacking you, it's also that you have no trust in the legal system or the police or anybody to come protect you. You're basically on your own. Because it's not just there's two problems. It's not just that some of the police are sympathetic to these, as you know, the mob, but the ones who are not sympathetic are scared. Like the mob is more powerful than the police officers. So they're like, yeah, I don't get paid enough at this job to risk my life to die. Like, I want to go home to my children. I'm not going to stand against a mob who's trying to lynch a Christian father and his son, because if I stand in front of them, I'm going to be the next one who's going to get lynched. So yeah,
what's
no,
really
thank you. You're on your
unfortunate
own.
is that oftentimes, or sometimes in Pakistan, a Christian merely asserting their beliefs as a Christian is considered blasphemous. Like asserting what their own belief is. They're like, oh my God, you just committed blasphemy. And they're like, no, this is just my religious belief. Like, I believe in the Trinity, for example. They're like, you just did a blasphemy.
Yeah, because here's the thing, under Islam, you are allowed to remain a Christian as long as you're humiliated, crushed, and you pay the jizya. But there's certain things you cannot do. So, for example, you cannot advertise Christianity. And who's to say what is advertising Christianity? Because technically, you just saying I'm a Christian can be seen as advertising Christianity. So it's up to the mob, I guess, to decide what is advertising Christianity.
Or what sometimes happens is there's been cases where like a Muslim coworker will like essentially invite their Christian coworker to Islam, be like, oh yeah, you should become a Muslim, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, oh, I don't want to become a Muslim. I'm a Christian. Blah, blah, blah. They're like, oh, why are you a Christian? Because I believe in Jesus Christ and the Holy Trinity. And we have this, blah, blah, blah. And then they're like, you just did a blasphemy.
Yeah, you just advertised Christianity. Congratulations. Your reward is to be lynched, for you and your family to be lynched by a mob.
Yeah, or your entire Christian community, your entire neighborhood to be set on fire and burned to the ground.
Right.
Horrible.
Yes. Hey, I really feel bad for people, especially activists in Pakistan. Like, I don't know. It's crazy.
I think it should be classified as an extreme sport.
No, seriously, guys, if you're in Pakistan, please be careful. And, get the hell out of there. Get the hell
Focus on your safety above all else.
I don't know. I wish there was an easier way for people to just leave a country and choose another place to live. It's not. It's difficult.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's get to because I want to make sure we get to
some super chats. I'm going to pronounce this as Ice Roy gave €2. Thank you. Saying Germany freed GRD political prisoners. Same for him. I'm not sure what you're talking about. That's okay. And then you also give another super chat saying, should we start feeding the Quran to goats instead? That's a throwback. Do it the old-fashioned way.
I think that would benefit the Quran production industry. So you're technically feeding Islamic organized. If you start buying Qurans and feeding them to goats, you're basically funding Islamic organizations by doing that. But yeah.
So this reminds me of a conversation we had with Armin about a different activist who like it's become a meme that to like wake up, burn a Quran, eat lunch, step on a Quran, like have a snack, spit in the Quran. And we're like, it's to the point where this man is single-handedly funding Islamic institutions because he needs to buy so many Qurans to desecrate. John Bungdog, thank you for the $5, saying Sam Tadros, oh nice, wrote of Mr. having big deficit in classical liberalism between Nasserism and Ikhwanism. Openings have been rare to really change folks. I'm sorry. I'm not. This doesn't fully make sense to me. I need more context. Um.
I think he's talking about Nasser versus the Muslim Brotherhood. You need to make it more clear. Like, yeah, I think he's talking about the secular pan-Arabist versus the Muslim Brotherhood ideology. But you need to really make it more clear what you're writing about, so for us to understand it. But thank you for this support.
Great. So let's go to the next news. Bringing it back to
Okay.
the UK.
Okay. Let me actually. Why are you? You had Dean's comment highlighted. All right. Can we clap for the next news?
Sure. Yes.
All right. Next news.
Next news, the UK's bold plan to stop Islamists intimidating teachers over blasphemy. The UK government is considering bold measures to protect teachers from accusations of blasphemy and intimidation by religious groups over educational content. A new report commissioned by Lord Walmey, the government's advisor on political violence, urges the Department for Education to issue statutory guidance to schools on managing blasphemy-related incidents. As Jack Rivington of the National Secular Society stated, the Walmey's report focused on the threats and intimidation faced by UK schools in relation to blasphemy accusations is welcome, as its recommendation for greater protections for teachers. The proposals aim to prevent schools from automatically suspending accused teachers, stop requiring parental consultations on potentially offensive material, and shield educators' identities during controversies. The move follows high-profile cases like the Batley Grammar School incident, where a teacher received death threats for showing a cartoon of the Prophet Muhammad. With teachers feeling let down by authorities, the report signals a firm stance against religious intimidation in the classroom and a commitment to upholding freedom of expression. So let's give a background for those who are not aware. So, okay. What happened was in 2021, there was an incident where a teacher at the Batley Grammar School showed Charlie Hebdo cartoons in a lesson on freedom of expression as a principle and value of the United Kingdom, like civics. And this was actually not too long after in France, Samuel Paty was beheaded in the street by a Chechen terrorist for also showing accusations of showing Charlie Hebdo cartoons in a civics lesson. So basically being murdered for promoting the values of the Republic to French children and citizens. So what happened at Batley Grammar School was very shortly after a teacher was murdered for this kind of accusation and activity. So what happened at the Batley Grammar School was this teacher was, so these like Islamists started protesting in front of the school, and the teacher was immediately suspended, and the school had to shut down for several days because the school was worried about violence and threats. And so huge disruption to the learning environment. And this teacher and his family of 4 had to go into hiding because members of the community identified him to the public and were promoting threats and incitement against him. So his identity became known. The school threw him under the bus. And this teacher and his family lives in hiding to this day. They are still living in hiding. And he was not protected by the school in any way whatsoever. Another incident that happened was, it was not too long ago. I think it was 2023. There was an incident at a school where there was an allegation that a Quran was slightly damaged by a student, by a 14-year-old boy. And this 14-year-old boy was autistic, highly autistic. And this boy received mass amounts of death threats against him in his safety. And what ended up happening is essentially the mom of this boy who was alleged to have lightly damaged this Quran was taken into this event that was held at a local mosque, so at an unrelated local religious institution, and held a panel where she basically pleaded for mercy in front of the community. So these are, I'm saying all this to provide some context about the environment that's happening in the United Kingdom. And this has had a major chilling effect on educators in the United Kingdom, where there were polls that have been done where the majority of English teachers say that they would not show this material to students. And 9% of those teachers specifically cited the incident of the Batley Grammar School as to why they are motivated to not teach this content to British citizens. Right? So this has had a deleterious effect upon the teaching of British but ostensibly liberal values upon their own citizens, right? And so there was a report that we covered a few months ago by the Commission on Counter-Extremism. And that report that we talked about how the blasphemy extremism in the UK is getting more radicalized. And much of this radicalization and much of this anti-blasphemy activism is explicitly coming from Pakistani influence. Where, the report, because that report, I read the whole thing. There were some instances where they were talking about, like, kind of back in the day, there was like some Al-Qaeda influence, like about 20 years ago. But now the influence is basically being pipelined from Pakistan, where different religious organizations, different cultural institutions are bringing in members or promoters of the TLP party in Pakistan, which, for those who are unfamiliar, is like the most foaming at the mouth blasphemy radical party in all of Pakistan that the government itself is freaking afraid of. They had to there was an incident that happened a few years ago where the TLP and their supporters were marching upon the Capitol, and the government literally had to come and use bulldozers to tear up the streets and highways so that they couldn't proceed to march on the Capitol. That actually happened. So this is the party where charities and religious and cultural institutions are bringing in supporters and promoters and speakers, spokesperson from this political party to come and speak at their mosques, their centers, whatever, and promote their ideas, which are often also, tangentially very anti-Semitic and also very homophobic and also very misogynistic. But that's a side point. So let's go into the present day. There was this report that came out, and the report actually ostensibly looks at a wide variety of political extremism that's happening in the United Kingdom. And I was reading it last night. I wasn't, okay. If anyone's interested, it's called Protecting Our Democracy from Coercion by Lord Walney. It's freely available online. When stuff like this comes out, I really try to read the reports. I wasn't able to read this whole thing because it's like 300 pages long, but I was just reading what's relevant to this story, right? But it's actually so interesting, Armin, because it goes the full gambit of documenting and examining how different extremist groups are using coercion and intimidation tactics upon the rest of society to disrupt their lives and coerce people in various ways. So it goes far right to far left. And it didn't dig into Islamism specifically per se in most of this, but Armin, it does a very good job of documenting how far left groups are openly collaborating with explicitly Islamist organizations including with groups where their leaders have met with and praised Hamas officials.
What?
So it doesn't dig into a lot of, like, it kind of just goes far left or far right. It doesn't really dig into Islamism within its own category, but it goes deeply into documenting how many of the far left groups also correlate with Islamist groups. So this is like not a conspiracy, you guys. This is known and documented by the government. Also, fun fact, when I was reading this report, you will be maybe not surprised, but there's a figure who's familiar to our community who was mentioned in this report. Could you guess who maybe it is?
Jimmy?
No.
No.
They talk about Muhammad Hijab in this report.
Oh. Can you send me this report, please? I want to maybe like review it on the Persian channel.
Yeah.
Well, not after the show.
And I was reading a bunch of this, and it's so profound and like so interesting. So I mean, I wish we had more time to go into this in depth. But basically it gives a bunch of recommendations about what the government needs to do to rectify the state of democracy in the United Kingdom. Because
what is the recommendation?
Well, there's a lot. There's a lot among different fronts and pertaining to different groups. So for the purposes of this segment, I'm just going to focus on the blasphemy radicalism that's intimidating educators and then therefore, you know, chilling the educational environment for all of Britain, right? So here are some quotes. So again, so this is as for context.
Wait, before you read it, can I say that, is this could somebody? I'm trying to look in the positive into this, okay? Because I know a lot of ex-Muslim or anti-Islam channels keep saying the UK has fallen and it's a Sharia takeover and it's all effed and everything. And I don't want to dismiss how bad things are becoming in the UK. I just don't know if it's a good idea to just have such a defeatist attitude and think like it's all lost, and basically because I feel like that attitude will make people not fight for the UK because they were like, yep, it's all gone, it's all because it's just looks, we're screwed, it's all over. And I just feel like, hey guys, like you need to have some hope or else nobody's going to fight to take back your country. So with that, I want to ask, does this report give you some hope that maybe the government is now taking this seriously and it's not as bad as people say, that the government is like ignoring all of this? Or I don't know. I'm just asking.
Okay, basically, so I have two feelings about it. So this report, it's very well done. It Lord Walney, who was commissioned to create this report, has incisive moral clarity expressed in this report, where he is very clearly strictly about protecting freedom of expression, but then also saying that we cannot allow these fringe activists to derail the entirety of our society, no matter how morally righteous certain members of the public might think that they are. It's unacceptable. So he articulates this with just such moral clarity in this report. And the recommendations, which we can get into, I think are very, very solid. So I'm like, this is awesome. Like this, there is an awareness. There is a, they're not mincing words. There's no, like apologism, so to speak. Now the question is, it is dependent that this actually becomes implemented. That's where the rubber meets the road. That is where the rubber meets the road. On the other hand, in my work at my job, I have the opportunity to sometimes speak to certain academics or people who are involved as government officials. And I was speaking to a certain British academic who might become involved with becoming a government official in the lens of, you know, Islamophobia and because they have like a position for Islamophobia, you know, like this whole issue in the United Kingdom. And he was legitimately very worried. So like speaking to people who are like on the inside, they're like, oh, we have they were legit worried. And I was like, oh no. So
okay, so be afraid. So guys, I take everything back. Be afraid. Like I was trying to provide some hope. Abandon all hope. Be terrified. Panic. Hit the panic button. Okay, so thank you.
No.
Thank you, Susie. Let's continue.
Yeah, so like I think here's the difference though. Just because there is cause for concern, which there is cause for concern, that doesn't mean that all hope is lost.
Yeah, I know.
I think that's an important distinction. So anyways, let's go into some of the actual like meat of this report. So, here's some quotes. The Walney report also says that schools are, quote, not required to engage with or appease local activist groups or religious institutions in managing blasphemy-related incidents or other tensions, including around relationships and sex education. In 2023, a copy of the Quran was slightly damaged at a school in Kettlethorpe, leading to a 14-year-old boy receiving death threats. The school responded by suspending the pupils involved and meeting with leaders from a local mosque, a meeting which Walney describes as an exercise in, quote, ritual humiliation. The report said that it was, quote, shameful for all involved that one of the boy's mothers appeared at this meeting to, quote, plead for mercy in a, quote, intimidating and partisan setting in order to deter public protests. Walney described how during these and other blasphemy-related incidents, the implicit threat of violence is, quote, exercised as a form of veto over what is taught in UK schools. The report's recommendations echo previous calls made by the National Secular Society for greater protection and support for teachers involved. So what are the specific recommendations? One of them is to create like a special unit, like a special task force that are tasked with responding to flashpoint blasphemy-related incidences. Another one is that schools under no circumstances should immediately suspend teachers who face these accusations. Another one is that teachers should never, ever, ever be identified by name or face to the public. Another one is that it is completely inappropriate for teachers, officials, local counselors, aka labor counselors, meeting with members of religious communities or local mosques that are completely unrelated to the incident involved. It is inappropriate. It is inappropriate. Why does some random mosque that just happens to be in the same community have any dictate or any relevant opinion about the actual function and policies employed with dealing with these incidents? And it also, just talked about how this is becoming increasingly radicalized and we really need to implement really strong recommendations to protect these teachers. So do you have any impressions for all the information I just dumped on you?
What is, I still don't, because I was looking up this information. What is the general suggestion? I didn't see anything hard or solid that like could be. It's just like, let's not allow them to do this or that. Like, can you give it like a what do you think?
Let me look at the report and I can actually pull up some stuff.
This seems like more warning than actually any recommendations that will do anything significant.
Yeah. Okay. Wait, no, that was just describing the incident. Sorry, let me just basically they need to be protecting strict, like actually implementing policies, because part of the problem is that there are not directives coming from above about how to deal with these incidences.
So what is an actual thing that you could do? Like, I didn't see anything solid here. Like, can you give me like one example of something solid they could do against all of this?
Do not immediately suspend or fire teachers who face these accusations. Do not consult local religious authorities about how to deal with these problems. Do not ask parents for permission about teaching these subjects. Versus, for some forms of sex education, you have to get parental consent. This is one of those instances. No, we do not get religious consent. We parental consent. Like I said, don't identify teachers under any circumstances to the press or local authorities, and do not collaborate with any outside unreligious religious institutions about how to
Okay.
ameliorate
This is
the
what you should
situation.
do. Okay, this is what you should do. Okay. First of all, immediately stop accepting any immigrants from Islamic countries. One. Okay.
Wait.
Two. Okay. Two. Right. Two. Significantly increase the punishment, like for anybody that intimidates anyone else for their opinions, and I'm talking years in prison. Like anybody that comes and tries to enforce blasphemy or threaten or intimidate anybody for saying things against Islam should immediately get arrested, and extremely harsh punishments should be put on them. Like I'm talking like 10 years or something in prison. Okay, I know nobody's going to do this, but I'm saying this is what should happen. Okay. We're gonna have French level secularism. Children will not only children in school cannot come up with the hijab or any other religious symbols. The education system has to change significantly to teach children critical thinking skills and teachings against any form of dogma. We need to criminalize brainwashing children even at their home. Bringing children to secular minded schools will be mandatory. Any parent who is forcing their religion on their children will be investigated, and if continued, they will be considered not fit to be a parent, and they could risk losing their children. If they continue, like first will be warning, and then everything like that. There will be mandatory for children, mandatory cultural trainings, so that they are brought up with the desired culture and values fit for the country. Anti-Semitic beliefs should be challenged among children. Anti-LGBT views should be challenged among children. Children have to be exposed to children with other cultures and beliefs and exchange, put into teams, cooperate with them. Everything basic, all the teachings in school has to be towards de-radicalization, towards mixing the children with the rest of the community. And lots of I can keep up thinking. Anytime any mosque or any other institution, Islamic institution, is even any report of them promoting any radical beliefs or any beliefs that doesn't fit the culture and values of the country, will be immediately closed with no plans to ever open it again. All the financial costs of closing the building and all the institution and all their assets would be seized and be given to the government. With any small hint of any reports that they're promoting radicalism or extreme beliefs. So, and I can keep coming up with a bigger list, but I will. This is just the beginning.
And this is the man that calls himself a libertarian.
No, this is a libertarian. This is nothing I said contradicts any form of libertarianism. If we could make it mandatory for children to have to learn mathematics, because I'm a libertarian, but I'm also a secularist, right? This not violate anything when it comes to libertarianism. But again, this is just the beginning. If you give me more time, I could come up with more rules.
Okay, well, these were recommendations for the Department for Education, so I don't. Okay, you know,
No,
it had
this
a
is
limited
all
scope.
across.
But no, I know. I just was
No,
talking about the
I have
report.
police, education, everything. You know, the judicial system. And this is what you're supposed to do.
And let me be clear, there are other elements of this report that go far beyond like this segment that do talk about those kinds of recommendations. So, for example, one of them was about expanding the definition of what is considered encouraging terrorism, including people that celebrate terrorism or terrorist groups, because we've seen a lot of that in the United Kingdom. And so it talks about like expanding those definitions. Did I send you the report? Like, honestly, Armin, I think it would be very interesting for you to go through this report on stream. Like, literally, if you just do Control F Islamist, you will find so much juicy details in this report. I want to, when I have more time, I want to read it in depth because, again, like, just moral clarity. Love to see it.
It just doesn't go as far as I think it should, though.
No, Armin, like I said, that is on that specific issue. The rest of the report goes a lot further on different issues, including protesters that are encouraging violence, endorsing violence, protests like rebellion, extinction that disrupt public life, that cost the economy, that damage livelihoods of people. Like, one of the recommendations was that people who have their lives disrupted by activists who are, say, blocking a road, that they should be able to seek personal damages against the activists who are preventing them from going to work. So, like, that's a recommendation, but that's on a completely different topic. You know what I mean? So it really does actually go into depth on a lot of those things.
Okay. I see a lot of people in the live chat are saying that Armin is not a libertarian based on everything he said, or some people saying like you're not a liberal, you're a fascist. Guys, being a libertarian or being in favor of low government involvement does not mean that you're a freaking anarchist. Okay, it doesn't mean that you're in. I'm a libertarian. I believe in low government intervention, but not zero government intervention. Most people who believe in capitalism or libertarianism also believe that it's completely okay for the government to mandate for children to have to learn mathematics. If you're okay with that, if you're okay that children have to be, it's mandatory. No parents can opt out of making their children not learn like math, literature, or physics, biology. You cannot choose that as a parent. So the government will force you to teach that to your children, and that's okay. So given that you could do that, then you should also be able to do that when it comes to the values that keep your country together. The cultures and values that everything rests upon. If math is important, this is also important. So we have already set a precedent where we mandate teaching your kids certain things, and this should be included, right? And also everything outside I said is also not anti-liberal. If you make a threat, if you intimidate people, that is already illegal. I am just saying that we just should increase the punishment. That's already illegal. It should already be illegal. If an institution is promoting violent or extremist ideology, shutting that down is already, in liberal country, we already have precedent for shutting those down. How is that fascistic? How is that fascistic? If an institution is actively promoting ideas that challenges the fabric of society, the government is responsible. It's not a liberal or a libertarian who is against that, is an anarchist who's against that. The government is responsible for the safety and the security of its citizens. A lot of people don't understand libertarianism. They think like, oh, no government intervention. You need government intervention for providing safety and security to your citizens. Anyways.
I'm just laughing because like American libertarianism is like so different, and you said about like 50 things that would make an American libertarian like rip their hair out. So I'm just poking fun at you. Although to be fair, I find many of them to be extremely naive. So although, let me be clear. I love me some libertarians, because you can say a lot of things about libertarians. Okay, you can say a lot, let's be honest, but you cannot say that you will have a boring conversation with one. I have always had interesting conversations with libertarians. They're eclectic and a little weird. Gotta love it.
A lot of libertarians don't understand libertarianism, and they have been too much influenced by anarcho-capitalists. All right, and they think like, oh, I hate the government and everything it does. Right, like even Adam Smith in the book Wealth of Nations, if you read it, there's from the very beginning of defining capitalism, there was government had a role in maintaining safety and stability and doing a whole bunch of other things. Anyways, I'm not going to get on that topic. But we have so many super chats.
I know we have a lot of super chats before we can get to the next story, and this one is interesting. So Viceroy, or as I'm calling him, thank you for the super chat, saying in the 80s, German Democratic Republic political prisoners were bought free. Same for the guy in Egypt.
Bought free.
Bought free. Right. I'm sorry, I don't understand your grammar, so I cannot comment on what you're trying to say.
In the 80s, German Democratic Republic political
bought free, like I don't understand.
Oh, so in the 80s, so there were prisoners in Egypt, and people bought them to buy their freedom. I think that's what he's saying in the 80s. I don't know.
Assuming.
This is what I'm getting.
Yeah, but it's not going to be that simple in Sharif Gabler's situation.
Okay.
So, Puli, thank you for the super chat, saying, I don't think YouTube is going to like me saying these words.
Don't say it. Say in est and PORN. No, I just spell the whole thing. Just spell out the whole thing.
No, I'm not. I don't want. I'm so tired of speaking in code.
Okay. Okay. No. Wait. Then let me read it. Okay. They can't watch in est. PORN. I don't even know what you're trying to say though.
Yeah, exactly.
What is the rest?
I think the rest of this is
thank
like
you for this
partner. Yeah, exactly. It's just chaos.
But thank you for the support.
Trying to decipher super chats like we're freaking cryptologists or something. We're like, what the fuck? Bungie gave a super chat. Thank you, saying just wanted to say how cute Susanna is. Oh. Thank you. She's great. Owns so much on the channel. Well, that's very sweet. Thank you, Bungie. I appreciate that. Master of Darkness. I don't know what this is pertaining to, but he just said,
Pakistan.
Well, here you go.
It was, here we go again. This is like Pakistan, but people mob justice.
Armin is stepping in it again. John Bundock, thank you for the super chat. Oh, clarifying his previous one. Saying, sorry for the confusion. Egypt needs political, cultural change beyond zero-sum intimidation, vanguardism, and violence. I get why many folks want to get out. Oh, yeah. We have some asylum seekers from Egypt in our community, and the stuff they go through is crazy. I'm so glad they're out of the country. They're so lucky. Stop Animal Cruelty gave a super chat saying, look at Tommy's rally from yesterday.
Can we cover that next week?
Well, I'm going to be on vacation next week.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Maybe. Yeah, okay. Maybe I'll
do a stream about it. Yeah. It'd be really interesting. If anyone has footage of the speeches that were given at the march or rally, please recommend it to us on our Discord channel in the news segment, because I've been seeing clips, but I want to see the full speeches, and I think that'd be a great thing for Armin to do like in depth on the show. It'd be great if you did like kind of like a review or unpacking of Tommy Robinson, Armin, because like he's a complicated figure.
I mean, his positions, I do have some criticism of him, but his positions are solid. Like, I haven't found anything. Like, I used to believe that based on so many things that people said, that this guy is like a freaking racist monster. And then when I looked at everything he says is completely right. There are some things here and there that he had done that I'm like, okay. And he also acknowledged that after that those were wrong, but most of it is pretty good. Like I think Tommy is what UK needs right now, actually. more than anything else.
He's also grown a lot as a person.
Yes,
I think
you're right.
people should take him for what he is now, because he has evolved a lot, and I think that needs to be acknowledged. But we were talking about this before the stream, and one of the things that Armin was saying that I agree with is that he sometimes doesn't do good fact checking.
Fact checking, that's the problem.
And that's where he kind of steps into it the most nowadays. I think that's his biggest mistake nowadays. I'm like, you should do more fact checking about certain stories or videos that you amplify. Yeah, because
his positions are correct. He just needs to, when he gets a video, he just needs to double check if it's actually what he thinks what it is before posting it. That's the only criticism I have. Susie agrees with me on this, right? Just like wait a little bit and make sure the video is actually what you think it is before posting it. Other than that, his positions are solid.
Because otherwise it's just way too easy to discredit you.
Right.
And then by extension paint you as a racist because of the assumptions you made when you were promoting something. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Right.
Viceroy gave a super chat saying deja vu of the Apostate Prophet stream where David Wood went full pessimist. What did he go pessimist about specifically? I'm curious. Because they do a lot of streams together. That could be any stream. So Kenny reacting to your government recommendations. Yup, that's definitely more bold. D was saying that blasphemy laws were abolished in England 16 years ago. This is absurd. Yeah, I mean, there were blasphemy laws on the books in Scotland until like within the past 4 years that were just abolished. Those were like not actually acted on, though, my understanding. Gay Asian American has a creative idea for cultural cohesion. Thank you for the super chat saying bringing Hindu, Chinese, and Muslim immigrants at a 1-to-1-to-1 ratio and a reality TV shows like Wife Swap and force them to coexist. I would watch that show. I would watch that show.
I understand that Europe needs more immigrants. Okay, I know. Okay, but are there not enough non-Islamic countries? Bring in from South America, bring in from the Philippines, bring in from the non-Islamic countries in Africa, bring in from Vietnam, bring from Mexico. Like, these are so many countries where you could bring in immigrants that are not going to have the same issue as the people you bring in from Pakistan. Or what's wrong with you? Like, why? Like, you picked the worst country to bring your immigrants from. I don't understand. Yeah, I mean, I do understand what's happening, but
yeah, it's very interesting to go look at the history of Britain basically importing the entire village of Mirpur and what happened there. Because I have other friends that are Pakistani that are out of all the regions in Pakistan, you literally chose like Mirpur itself. Like, that's also distinctly a problem. Yes. What was I going to say? I mean, do they really need more immigrants or less welfare state? Is my thing.
Well, they kind of need more babies. But
exactly. Well, I mean, and this goes. Well, I'm not going to get into it. But if the pre-existing population is devoting so much of their income into a welfare state that then immigrants will disproportionately take advantage of so that they can have more kids than the native population because they're contributing more. It makes it more difficult to have children. It's a mess. It is a total mess.
No.
Because my understanding is that mass immigration isn't necessarily bad, but it's bad when you have a welfare state. I could be wrong. I'm no economist. Erican is just saying great policy idea. So he agrees with you, Armin.
Thank you. I have your
or Hirschfield also gave a super sticker. Thank you.
Thank you.
Space Elliot is saying if kids are forced to learn about physics, it was the worst time of my life. For people that are not familiar, I have a personal beef with physics. They should be forced to learn about secularism too. Of course, you have to learn about your civic values. GJ is saying, Armin, when are you going to move to the US? Why would he move to the US?
Never.
Yeah.
Well, if I ever am able to just move wherever I want and have enough income to just be able to choose the country that I could just live in, I'd probably just move to Japan.
Really interesting. Puli again making a super chat in broken Urdu, I believe. Sir, please no sex, just donkey sex. Okay.
That's good. Okay.
Or Hirschfield, thank you for the super chat saying a lot of US libertarians are wrong about Israel and Ukraine. Yeah, a lot of libertarians are basically non-interventionists because of the monopoly on state power, and then their issues with the state itself. And I'm like, okay, so you're just going to abandon all of your allies then, essentially. You're just saying that you're going to abandon all your allies against who are actually doing the hard work of fighting the fight against tyranny, which you say that you're against, but then you're not going to support people that actually share your values of fighting against tyranny. So yeah, no, thank you.
Well, as a libertarian myself, I do disagree with those libertarians, and I believe that for you to even be able to endorse capitalism, you need a powerful military presence globally to be able to ensure enough stability and safety for all countries to be able to have a platform where they could trade and prosper, right? And for that, you need a global presence where you basically show your deterrent capabilities against countries that violate these international norms. And you need to be able to demonstrate that. You always have to make sure that you back your allies. So you cannot, as a libertarian, you cannot even, you have to understand that to be able to have free markets, it needs to be built upon a framework of stability that is backed by a powerful military presence globally. So there you go.
And not all libertarians are like this. Like Javier Milei,
yes,
our flaming libertarian king is a hardcore supporter of Ukraine and Israel.
Right, exactly.
Yo, I've turned into like a little bit of a Milei fangirl. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, be careful with that, because Argentina's economy is so broken that maybe not even we don't know what's going to happen. Like maybe he can't even fix it. So if it doesn't work out, people are going to be like, oh, what happened? I thought you were such a fan. But yeah, that country's economy might be beyond saving. So I don't know.
I mean, from what I've seen, unpacking what he's done so far, I mean, we do know that there is going to be pain before there is change and growth. But I've seen very, very positive and hopeful things about how he's liberalizing the economy. Like it's going to suck for the short term, but
yes, but just don't predict things like that. We have the economies of the world is divided into 4. Okay, we have developed countries, we have underdeveloped countries, and then we have Argentina and Japan. Right, so they are their own categories. That's how different they are. So you cannot predict anything about their future.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just hopeful, I'm hopeful. GJ gave a super chat saying, wow, I didn't think I'd live to see the day you guys would ever warm up to Tommy Robinson. Progress. Well, Armin,
I was in his rally. I was like years ago. I was inside his rally.
Wait, what? I didn't know this.
Yeah, I have videos of that. I could show you. I should.
Where was this? In the UK?
Yeah, in the UK. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Where else? Yeah. Where else would he have his rally? I was so pleasantly surprised when I was in his rally that so many people in the rally of Tommy Robinson were holding Israeli flags, and there was and it was at a time that there was no major news about Israel. They just had Israeli flags, which is so interesting because they try to say that they're far right. Yeah, far right doesn't hold Israeli flags, right?
No, they actually use that against him.
Right. Yes, the people who are far right actually hate Tommy because they're such Zionists. Yes.
Yeah, when he's like literally at the front of an anti-Semitism rally in the streets of
Yeah,
London.
exactly. Exactly.
Excuse me, Ice Ray saying GDR prisoners were freed by Germany in the 80s. Okay. And DW, he also gave another super chat saying DW went pessimist because Apostate Prophet said the UK is doomed. You know,
I think we
I'm
should be
holding out.
don't defeat it. Yes, but the UK is potentially doomed, and we have to fight for the UK.
Yeah.
Okay. Nothing is. Don't consider UK. UK still has a lot of fight in it. Okay, and guys, don't give up on the country. Don't give up on your country. Fight for your country.
I just don't think it's going to come from the elites. And Holger is saying also the Iranian lion flag was visible. Yes, in the footage that I have seen so far, the Shiro Rashid was flying high. A lot of them, actually.
Right. Actually, we should.
I saw Japanese flags in the footage I've seen online.
We should tell people what the actual Iranian flag is, right? So, here. Because this is what people need to learn. Okay, so this is the left one is the Islamic Republic flag. It's not the Iranian flag. That's the flag of the Islamic Republic. Okay, the right one with the lion and the sword and the sun. That's the
Armin as a monarchist exposed. Yeah. This is the super popular one.
No, that's not the right flag. I'm showing you the wrong flag here. The actual official one.
If there's a little crown on the lion, it's a monarchist thing.
Yeah. So yeah, this is the
Freudian flip.
No, so this is the actual one. The one with the crown. It's just the lion and the sun. Yeah. The one with the crown is not the official sign of the country. Like that's the one with the crown is the official sign of the military. I think the Artesh of the Pahlavi dynasty. So the actual one that is supposed to be in the middle of the flag just has the lion, the sword, and the sun. So the one that right now people associate with the Iranian flag, in the middle of it, it has a symbol that represents Allah. And yeah, that's not the actual flag. So let me bring this up. So this is the Islamic Republic's flag. Okay, so this one has Allah in the middle, and it has Allahu Akbar all the way up here, and Allahu Akbar all the way here. And when you see Iranians in, outside of Iran, when they're waving the flag, that's not the flag that they wave. This is the flag that they wave. With this in the middle, with the lion and the sun.
Oh, and D is saying that Nayak Gorbani, the badass Iranian dissident that we have talked about a lot on this channel recently, was there and he spoke on stage.
Oh, fantastic!
That's so cool.
Wait, who?
GJ. Remember we talk about the guy that just goes and holds a sign saying Hamas is terrorists, and then people assault him.
Right.
For just stating a fact that is believed to be true by the UK government of, the government of the country he's living in. Yeah, that guy. GJ is giving a super chat, and GJ, I'm going to be honest, I don't agree with the super chat and I don't appreciate it. So I do have to call it out, saying the UK must stop calling Pakis Asians. Okay, Paki is a slur. Second of all, Pakistanis are Asians. They are Asians.
Yeah, but I don't agree with the Paki reference, okay? But I do agree that you shouldn't call them Asians because you're trying to hide, because when they do that, they're trying to hide a certain information, right? So don't refer to them as Pakis, refer to them as Pakistanis. And yeah, I agree that they should be referred to as Pakistanis, not Asians, but don't use that's a slur, so I don't think that's a good thing. Don't say Paki. Yeah.
And a Asian American gave a super chat saying he bent the knee to Queen Elizabeth and her heirs and Pahlavi. Are we really shocked? Wait, who's he? Oh, you mean Armin? Freedom! Eagle.
Well,
I want to be able to imitate an eagle screech. Because you can't be an American and not punctuate things with an eagle screech. You know what I mean? So he's joking, saying that when you became a Canadian citizen, you bent the knee to Queen Elizabeth. You promised yourself to the Queen, Armin. You promised fealty to the Queen.
Well, she's dead now, so I don't have to worry about that. Okay.
No, you have a king now. Fine. You have a new daddy.
No, I never took an oath to be loyal to him. I just took an oath to be loyal to the Queen. So, and I never mentioned anything about a king. And now she's dead, so I am free of my oath.
Oh, excuse me. I didn't realize that your fealty to the crown was time sensitive.
Yeah, because in the oath, I literally asks you to say to the Queen. I said Queen. I never mentioned king. So yeah, it's done. It's over. Sorry, you should have made it more
Canada.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Let me see. Richard gave a super chat saying, I had to watch a painful interview this morning. People quitting the Biden administration over supporting Israel. Thank you for your sanity. Yeah, a lot of the people in the administration have left because of him.
Wow.
I don't know what they thought was going to happen.
Yeah, just Democratic. Imagine the Democratic Party not standing behind Israel. Like, okay, wow. What do you expect? It's the United States. You have to support Israel. But thank you for the super chat.
Yeah.
All right.
They are welcome to leave. That is their prerogative.
Yes. The garbage taking itself out.
Oh, shit. As one of my friends would say, what? It is a freedom country. It is a freedom country. It's my favorite thing in the world. It is a freedom country. And Kenny is saying the world is upside down. Well, you're really going to feel this way when we go into our next news story, our next and last news story. Well, actually not last because I'm going to cover the knife attack briefly.
Yeah, there's another. Yeah, you wanted to cover another thing that you sent me. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So this is second to last, but we cannot show that last video. But anyways, can we clap for this one? But yes, I have a video. When I saw the title of this next news item, I was like, oh my God, I should go look for this video. When you were talking, I was looking for and downloading this video. So I have a surprise video for you after you mention this news. Okay.
Okay. Let's get into it.
Wait, hold on. All right. Next news.
Saudi textbooks erase Palestine. A new shift in Middle East politics. The findings of an Israeli UK think tank's study on Saudi Arabian's textbooks have revealed a notable shift in the kingdom's educational materials, potentially signaling a groundwork for normalizing ties with Israel. As noted in the report, quote, year on year, we are seeing advances in Saudi textbooks, which add up to a curriculum that embraces tolerance and moderation. These recent changes, which include more open attitudes towards Israel, are an important step in this direction, said Marcus Sheff, the CEO of Impact SE, which is the think tank that conducted this study. The study documented the removal of anti-Semitic content, conspiracy theories about Zionism, and references to Israel as the Zionist enemy, instead adopting more neutral language like the Israeli occupation army. However, one striking observation was the erasure of Palestine from most maps and lessons. This development has sparked speculation about a potential shift in Middle East politics, as the ultra-conservative Muslim kingdom appears to be moderating its stance on Israel while downplaying the Palestinian cause in its educational curriculum. So let us unpack what's going on here. So let me be clear. When the reporting says that Saudi textbooks erase Palestine from the maps, basically what is happening is that just that area of land from the Jordan River to the Mediterranean Sea is just unlabeled. It's not labeled Israel, but it's also not labeled Palestine. these textbooks, so this think tank has been monitoring these textbooks for years now. And so they can track these changes over time, and they use their criteria are supposed to be very objective and neutral, following policies of UNESCO criteria and standards for like peaceful education, right? So they're supposed to be just like unbiased in looking at these textbooks and balancing it against like internationally established criteria, right? And so they have taken, in these textbooks, have removed entire chapters praising the positive effects of the first Intifada. They have taken out language about Zionist enemies, conspiracies about the European Zionist plot, conspiracies that the Zionist plan is to basically take over Arab territories, take over oil fields, take over their resources. Instead, it shifted to talking about Israel not as a Zionist enemy, but more as an occupation force. So moderating its language a lot. And it has removed like entire chapters on Palestine in general. Not only that, so part of the labeling thing is that they are just not labeling any country that doesn't border Saudi itself. And so what people who are commenting on this was saying was that what we need to understand is that this sends a signal about how Saudi wants to go for projecting into the future, right? Because this isn't going to be reflected in attitudes, immediately or for the generations that have already come or are already here. This is projecting into the future, looking at what is being decided is what the country wants to become. And this was so interesting to me. Like I said, this is not a strictly religious based story, which is really what we try to cover on these on our show together here, but it was just too interesting for me to not talk about it. So here's another quote. Other improvements include the removal of hateful examples of Jews, Christians, and polytheists or infidels, as well as moderating discourse towards the Shia and Sufi streams of Islam. Additionally, there was improvement concerning gender issues with the removal of statements regarding traditional roles for women. Likewise, a significant amount of homophobic content was also removed. The report also highlighted the way that Saudi textbooks denounce radical Muslim ideologies such as the Muslim Brotherhood, Hezbollah, ISIS, Al-Qaeda, and the Houthis, and more. In this context, violent interpretations of jihad and martyrdom were abolished. So it was so interesting. And when I was talking to Armin about this, I was like, I feel like the world is like flipping in reverse. It's so interesting that like Saudi is trying to mellow and at least neutralize, calm down, and moderate the language and rhetoric and attitudes towards Israel, versus here in the West, they're like the most foaming at the mouth and radical I've ever seen in my entire short life. So please tell me your reactions, Armin, because I was like, whoa.
Before I tell you my reaction, do you remember that video I sent you from a Saudi man after October 7th releasing a short video cursing Palestinians and telling them that you're not even Arabs, that
yeah,
this is
it
not
was a
your
little
land,
bit racist, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, do you have that? Because I can't find that. I wanted to show the people that, but it was pretty intense.
Sure.
Like there's a Saudi guy, like everybody hates you, Arab people hate you, the world hates you. Everywhere you go, you cause trouble. And this was like from Saudi, like, yeah. There's a lot of hatred for Palestinians in the Arab world. Like, I don't know if people know that. When it comes to people, remember that they love Palestinians when more Islamists, when something happens in Palestine. But on normal days, when Palestine is not on the news, they're treated like they're treated really badly. Like Palestinians in Lebanon, Palestinians in Syria, Palestinians in Saudi Arabia, they're treated like inferior troublemakers everywhere they go, like people with radical beliefs. So that's how they, and especially the Saudi elites, the Saudi government, they cannot, they really hate Palestine, right?
Well, they're tired
Like
of the
this
issue. They
cousin,
want it to go away. They're like,
yes,
that's how I see it. Like, can we move on? Like, they're tired of it. They're not bothered with it anymore. It's an obstacle to them. It's a pain in their ass. It's a thorn in their side.
yeah. Somebody's in the live chat that says they call them the beggars of the Middle East. They,
Oh,
they
shit.
think that they are freeloaders. That they, wherever they go, they don't assimilate. Like in other more modern, advanced Arab countries, that they just bring in all their problems to that country, and they cause all that country, that country, bring their problems with them, and their radicalism and their chaos and everything. Again, not my views. I'm just saying how other, but especially Saudi Arabia itself is so annoyed with the Palestinian cause, especially because the Palestinian cause is the Islamic Republic cause. This is the Palestinian cause is mostly the Islamic regime in Iran's weapon against the unity of Arab countries together, and also Arab countries with the West and the rest of the world. Like this is always being used as, it used to be weaponized by Wahhabis, but not as much anymore, right? So we have, when it comes to Islamic forces in the Middle East, we have three main powers, right? We have Wahhabism, we have Muslim Brotherhood, and we have Khomeinism, so, or the Vilayat Faqih version of Shia Islam, right? So these are the three Islamic powers in the Middle East. And all of these three Islamic powers used to take advantage of the used Palestinian blood to further their agenda. So Wahhabism was used by the Saudis, but now there was an attempt at of divorce between the House of Saud and House of Wahhab back in before 1979, but the Islamic Revolution in Iran stopped that divorce, and now there's a second attempt at this divorce. To be able to go further with, because Saudi Arabia always wanted to become more westernized and leave the Wahhabi side of Saudi Arabia aside, because it had caused them nothing but trouble. So it would remain those two powers. Muslim Brotherhood doesn't have any state except in Gaza. So the main power using, other than Ataturk, the main power in the Middle East. No, sorry, other than I'm saying other than the Islamists in Turkey, Erdogan moving against the secular. So it's interesting because Saudi Arabia is moving towards, westernization away from Islamism. In Turkey, we're moving towards Islamization against what Ataturk was trying to do, the secularization of Turkey. So Muslim Brotherhood has failed in Egypt and in other Sunni countries. The only place that has a state is in Gaza. Wahhabism is failing because Saudi Arabia is moving away from Islamization. So number one main promoter of the Palestinian cause, the power behind the Palestinian so-called cause, is the regime, the Islamic regime in Iran, and the number two is, with a huge distance, is Erdogan in Turkey. So given that Saudi Arabia is the enemy of the Islamic Republic in Iran, they consider this whole Palestinian cause to be such a threat to them. So they have to act like they support it, because there's so many people still in their country that are extremely Muslim and extremely, even though the Saudis themselves hate the Palestinian cause, the Saudi people, citizens, still support the Palestinian cause. So this is the kind of the opposite of Iran. In Iran, the government supports the Palestinian cause. The people in Iran don't support the Palestinian cause. The people in Iran more and more are becoming pro-Israeli every day. In Saudi Arabia, it's the opposite. In Saudi Arabia, the government wants to move closer to the West and Israel, but the people don't let the government, because you have to be very careful not to start a revolution, an Islamic revolution in Saudi Arabia, right? So the government, even though it's a dictatorship, it's not a democratic country, even dictators have to worry about the opinions of their of their citizens, or else if it gets too distant, then they have to worry about the people turning on them and basically removing them from power, right? Either the Wahhabis or the Muslim Brotherhood or the Shia parts of Saudi Arabia, which is the most oil-rich part of Saudi Arabia. That's also a danger that the Islamic Republic in Iran is always trying to take advantage of, right? So it's interesting. Look at the evolution that we're seeing, because Saudi Arabia, the reason why Saudi Arabia after 1979 started supporting Wahhabism, it was because it was trying to compete with the Islamic Republic of Iran when they were exporting their Shia revolution beyond their borders, and they thought that they have to go back in supporting Wahhabism to spread their ideology, Islam that is the brand of the Saudi Arabia. So we had Khomeinism, which is Shia Islam, the brand of the Islamic Republic of Iran, and they were becoming more Western. But after the Islamic Revolution, they thought that they have to promote their brand of Islam, which is Wahhabism, to compete with the Islamic Republic of Iran, and that backfired on them. Right? It didn't actually help Saudi Arabia; it backfired on the Souths. So now they're giving up their strategy completely. And just moving back to the westernization, getting close to Israel and the West, like they were trying to do before 1979, right? But if you look at the evolution, it's pretty interesting, because back in the day when they were going full Wahhabi, if you read their elementary school books, it was in Saudi Arabia, elementary school books was promoting genocide against Jewish people in their school books, right? So we went from promoting genocide against Jewish people to not promoting genocide against Jewish people, to now going more like even a little bit more distant from what they were before, to maybe promoting tolerance. And now we're getting to a point where nobody even saw coming. So we went like, hey, like down with Israel, like death to the Jews, to Palestine. Who? Like Palestine? Like we expected them to eventually be more pro-Israeli. But to go this fast to the point where Palestine not being recognized, that is a lot like faster than most people anticipated, right? Like it's one thing for you not to promote anti-Semitism or not be anti-Israeli. It's another thing for you to just completely be so open and direct and fast in regards to stop backing the Palestinian cause so openly. Like it's pretty daring to be able to do that. But again, this was people who this is just them saying the quiet part out loud, because everybody who looks at Saudi policies knew that this is how they felt for a very long time. Like even with their negotiations with Israel, they keep on having to say that, oh yeah, the Abrahamic Accord is conditional on Israel accepting the two-state solution. They say that because they have to say that. But behind closed doors, if you actually look at their negotiations with like the indirect negotiations that I had with Israel, they have made it clear that you accepting Palestine as a state does not have to be written in an agreement. It could just be orally agreed upon privately, right? And they also communicated to Israel that it could be orally communicated with us. I mean, this was their attempt to signal that to Israel. Privately communicate that to us for an attempt for Palestine to be a country, not for the promise. Like you don't have to promise us that Palestine will eventually be a country. You just have to orally, in private, without writing it, say that we will consider attempting to get to a point where Palestine will be a country. That's what Saudi Arabia was signaling to Israel. Like basically what they were saying, like we might go aggressively say like, yes, yeah, Palestine aggressively for an internal audience. But when it comes to Israel themselves, they're like, okay, this is what we're saying for them, just to make sure that people do not get too angry with us. But by the way, people are angry with them. Like the Saudi government is seen by most Islamists as worse than the devil himself. Like the Saudi government is not considered to be Muslim by most Islamists. They are considered to be a Western puppet. They're considered to be Zionist. They're considered to be an enemy of Islam. Most people, most Sunni Muslims who take Islam seriously do not consider, unless they are the type of Islamists that the house of that Saudi Arabia is paying and promoting, like they're coming from the Medina school that Saudi Arabia is supporting. Like those are the few Islamic scholars that are coming from Saudi Arabia directly itself, which is very interesting because these are the same scholars that are promoting a non-political version, a non version of Islam where Muslims don't get involved in politics. Hold on. But I have a video I want to show you.
Well, I
Oh, you
also
have a
found
video
the
too.
video that you wanted. I put it in
Oh
the
wow,
back.
you did?
Yes, I did.
Oh my god, this is juicy. Can we show this to people?
Yeah, I think you've
Like
covered it
this.
on the show before. I mean, we should state that we don't like really endorse everything that they
Guys,
say.
this is
I'm gonna go to the
very,
bathroom. Though. I'll be right
very
back.
okay. Well, I want to wait for you because this is I want to see your reaction.
I'll be right
So
back.
go to
I've seen this before.
Okay. Guys, brace yourselves. This is this is pretty intense. Okay. I don't even know if you want to see this. So, YouTube, we do not agree with these views. We're just trying to demonstrate what we have been saying here. And again, this is the view by many non-Islamists, non like politically Islamic Arabs in Gulf Arabs. You know, like I'm talking about UAE, Qatar, Saudi Arabia. This has been a view that they have been having for a long time. And this man said all of this out loud after October 7th. So this is this man's reaction to October 7th. Again, YouTube, please do not strike us down. This is just this man's view that I'm showing to our audience for educational purposes, right? Okay, so he is this the audience. He's saying this to Palestinians. Okay, so this man is saying there's nothing Saudi Arabia didn't give you. It even established a state for you.
Wait, we have no audio.
Okay. Oh, really? Okay, let me go back from the beginning. Glad thing you came back. Okay, so here. There's nothing Saudi Arabia didn't give you. It even established a state for you. King Fahad. When President Reagan asked him to finance the Contras rebel groups, he said one good turn deserves another. Give me a Palestinian, said Reagan said okay. They agreed upon a Palestinian state. King Fahad informed Arafat they have gotten a Palestinian state. Arafat ran away and agreed to meet King Fahad. Only 10 years after all of this, Arafat wasn't interested in a Palestinian state. None of you want a Palestinian. So he's talking to Palestinians and he's saying none of you want a Palestinian state. Since you have no case, no country, and no land. Okay, so this is a Saudi man telling Palestinian people that you have no case, no country, and no land. This land belongs to Israel. Okay. According to the Quran. This is very interesting because a lot of Arabs are now saying to Palestinians that what are you talking about Palestine? The Quran mentions Israel. There's not a single mention of Palestine in the Quran, and there is constant mention of Israel in the Quran.
I've seen a lot of Muslims talk about this actually.
Yes, the word, and they say the word Palestine is Western imperialism, specifically the Roman Empire. Okay, the Roman Empire gave the name Palestine to that land And the name of the land before Palestine was Israel. And the Roman Empire gave the name Palestine to that land because it was anti-Jewish. It changed the name of that land. So you guys who are calling it Palestine, you're choosing a Roman Empire as an actual Western Empire's name over the Quranic name, which is Israel for that land, right?
Oh, how the turntables.
Yeah, and which is weird because the word Palestine, you can't even pronounce it. You call it Palestine because the name Palestine that the Roman Empire gave to that land has the sound P in it, which you don't have in Arabic. So this name is so foreign to you that you don't even have the sounds to make it. Anyways, let's continue. And you are displaced people, scattered from all over. So he's basically now questioning Palestinians to not be even Arabs. He's saying you're Mongolian, Turkmen, Kyrgyzstan, Armenian, Gypsies.
Many are Egyptians and Saudis. From
I don't care about like ethnic roots of people, but this guy is.
No, but I mean, you can tell by people's names.
Right. Yeah. And then he says you have nothing in Palestine. Palestine is the state of Israel for the people of Israel. And the people of Israel, just so you know, the people of Israel are the sons of Isaac. And we Arabs are the sons of Ismail. Isaac and Ismail were brothers and their fathers were Abraham. That's why they call it the Abraham Accord, like the accord that is trying to bring Saudi Arabia and other Arab countries with Israel because they share a father in Abraham. That makes them our cousins. But where did you come from? So he first is trying to say Palestinians are not Arabs, and he says we Arabs are brothers with Jews. But where the hell did you come from?
Oh shit!
Again, I'm not saying this. This man is saying that. Okay, so how are you a part of all this? You were scattered, or originally Gypsies, Mongols, Turkmens, Kyrgyzstan. What?
Circassian.
No. Circassian. I mean, okay, so I missed it. Circassian, Romans. Leftovers of other peoples. How are you a part of all of this? How are you part of all this? Oh, how are you part of us? The people of Israel live in their land. But you have no land and have no case. Don't try to fool us. And about the Al-Aqsa Mosque, this is a key point in the Quran, okay? Al-Aqsa Mosque, because the people think that the second holiest place, the third holiest place in Islam is supposed to be Al-Aqsa Mosque in Jerusalem because the Quran refers to it. So now he questions that. He's like, I think he's going to mention that the mosque mentioned in the Quran, there's no proof that that's mentioning that mosque in Jerusalem. Because that mosque was built after, the time that the Quran refers to a mosque in Jerusalem, there was nothing there. That mosque didn't exist there. So I think that's what he's going to refer to. There's no such thing as Al-Aqsa Mosque. There's only Al-Aqsa Al-Quds, Jerusalem. Okay. The Al-Aqsa Mosque mentioned in the Quran is located in Jura, 29 kilometers from the city of Taif. So basically saying that Quranic mosque that you think refers to the one mosque in Jerusalem is actually referring to a different mosque that is not in Jerusalem. There are two mosques, Al-Aqsa, the further, and the Al-Adna, which is the closer. Your mosque was built in Hisham in the year 6. Oh yeah, the Al-Aqsa Mosque that the Palestinians are mentioning, that was built in 682 AD. How could Muhammad visit a structure which was built in the year 682? So because Muhammad did the Miraj, right? He did the miracle when he went from Mecca all the way from now Saudi Arabia all the way to Jerusalem and visited that mosque. But that mosque wasn't even built back then. So he's like, this is not the mosque that you think it is.
وهو مبني عام 72 للهجرة يعني بعد وفاة
60 years after Muhammad has died. So the mosque was built after Muhammad's death.
محمد ب60 سنة.
So the Quran could not have been referring to this mosque in Jerusalem.
تضحكون على مين انتم؟
Who are you trying to fool?
تضحكون على مين؟ الفلسطيني.
You Palestinians,
أنت
you are not Arabs. Like he's saying that quite now clearly. You are not Arabs.
أنت عربي. ولا لك أرض
You have no land and no case.
ولا لك قضية. الأرض
The land belongs to Israel,
والقضية قضية
and the case is the case of Israel.
كان
Back then, Israel prime ministers is Yitzhak Shamir and Rabin and Sharon and Golda Meir.
شامير ورابين وشارون وجولدا مائير والثاني والله ما ادري شو اسمه.
And another one, I forgot his name.
هذول كانوا أبطال.
They were heroes. He's calling Israeli prime ministers heroes. Did you know? But okay, so now he's anti-Netanyahu. But Prime Minister Netanyahu is a coward.
لكن نتنياهو جبان. لا نتنياهو ما
Because Netanyahu didn't burn you.
Oh shit!
Yeah. So he's saying Netanyahu is a coward for not burning the Palestinians.
حركهم. ما ادري وش يبي.
Again, YouTube, not our views. We are just, this is educational purpose. We're just reviewing this man's views.
الأسلحة مكدسها عندي. يا
Netanyahu burned these criminals. Dispose of them already for your sake, the world's and ours.
يا نتنياهو احرق هالعصابات هذه وهالشتات وهالملفقين وريح نفسك وريح العالم منهم وريحنا احنا منهم. ليش مخليه؟
Why do you keep them?
ليش فتح لهم
Why did you open the borders and let them escape?
حدود يهاجرون؟ راحوا للأردن.
In Jordan, they caused the Black September in 1970. So like 70% of the population of Jordan is now Palestinian. He said, like, why did you let them go there?
ويلول الأسود. وراحوا للكويت.
In Kuwait, they plundered when Saddam Hussein occupied the country in 1991.
يوم صدام احتله. نابوا يلبسون
They wore the Iraqi army uniform and looted stores.
الجيش العراقي وينهبوا. الخسة والنساء.
They kept on being mean and despicable.
والحقارة ما يتركونها. هذه تربيتهم.
It's part of their education and who they are.
هذا دمهم وهذا عرقهم. ليش ما تريح؟
If you're a man, Netanyahu, why not do the world a favor and get rid of them?
العالم منهم يا نتنياهو رجال وبطل.
Yeah.
ها؟
Amir, this
God-
guy is more Israeli right wing than me.
God damn it. Say, may God curse you and curse even Netanyahu for not getting rid of you. So he's talking to Palestinians.
عنكم ويلعن حتى نتنياهو اللي ما خلصنا منكم. لأن نتنياهو
Because Netanyahu throw you a life preserver.
تارك لكم الحبل على الغارب.
True, I think.
والمفروض
He's the one who is supposed to torment
نتنياهو
you
هو اللي يأدبكم وهو اللي يخلص
and dispose the world of your evil
العالم من
deeds.
شروركم. أنتم شر في أي دولة
You Palestinians are evil in any country you set foot on.
تحطون فيها يا الفلسطينيين. شر من
Pure evil and no decent man among you.
ولا بكم رجل. أنا مستعد.
I'm willing to spend the night with a Jew and not a Palestinian.
لا أنام عند يهودي ولا أنام عند فلسطيني. أنا مستعد.
I am willing to host a Jew in my house, give him food and water and a bed to sleep in,
تقلط يهودي في بيتي وأغديه وأوكله وشربه ورقده ولا
and not let a Palestinian enter my house. Jesus.
أدخل فلسطيني في بيتي. والسلام عليكم.
Thank you.
Thank you and goodbye. That's such a crazy way to end that rant. Holy cow. Here's some extremely genocidal stuff I have to say.
I do not agree
Thank
with.
you and goodbye.
Yeah. Yes. By the way, Zaid. I felt insulted because Zaid is here and Zaid is Palestinian living in Jordan, And I feel like when he was saying about all Palestinians, I was feeling bad because of our very own Zaid here, right?
Yeah, I'm like, not our baby.
Not,
No,
yeah.
Here's the thing. I think, well, obviously that guy is like full blown extremist.
Yeah.
Or
I'm just trying to show you like what's
yeah, it's an attitude that does exist. Like I was talking to one of my Lebanese friends about this issue, and like his dad is like pretty freaking hardcore. And I on YouTube, I cannot repeat what his dad says about Palestinians, but then my friend was like, yeah, no, I mean, insert despicable racist statement. And he's like, oh, yeah, well, the thing is, my dad just hates Jews more than he hates Palestinians. So, like, that's the unifying factor here.
Yeah, so some people are saying, like, see, like, proud Zionist is saying he's generalizing. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, if he was talking about, like, Netanyahu being a coward and just, like, not taking out Hamas, I don't think we would, like, have an issue with that.
Right.
You know, like, why are you keeping them on life support? Because there are ways in which Netanyahu kept Hamas on life support. Like, if he was just, like, a little bit more specific, then we'd be like, oh, okay, no problem. Well, goddamn.
Yeah. So, have you seen this video I'm about to show you?
I have, yeah.
Okay, so guys, watch this. This is what happens to you if in Saudi Arabia you try to raise the Palestinian flag. This is right next to the Kaaba. So let's look at this.
Every day, alhamdulillah. Every day, alhamdulillah. Ya Rabbim, Allah ekber. Allah'ım sen bilsin ya Rabbim. Sen bilsinler yardımcı ol Allah'ım. Ya Rabbim, ya Resulallah. Sen Rahmansın, Kerimsin Allah'ım. Sen Kerimsin, sen Rahmansın Allah'ım. Şimdi polisler geldi arkadaşlar. Hemen kadının yanına geldiler.
So how many people do you think, Susie, know that you could get in trouble in Saudi Arabia for holding the Palestinian flag right next to the Kaaba? Like, this is not people, so this woman, the flag was taken away, and she was also detained for holding a Palestinian flag. But here's the interesting thing. So some people are saying, well, yeah, it's next to the Kaaba. That's what happens. But a lot of where this was posted, where last time I saw this somewhere posted, a lot of Arabs in the comments were celebrating this. You know, some people. So depends where this is posted. If this is like a lot of Islamists condemn this, but a lot of like pan-Arabist type people, they celebrate this. They're like, good job, like get that garbage out of there. Like I saw people in Arabic insulting that woman for holding the Palestinian flag. You know, so and I think it's a lot more complicated than people understand. There is pan-Arabism or Arab nationalism on one side, and when we have Islamism on the other side. So a lot of Islamists are sharing this video to show how evil the Saudi government is, but a lot of also Arabs who are sharing this around, celebrating this, like, yeah, that filth, that woman, take that filth out of our country or something like that.
Well, and yeah, Zaid is bringing up a good point. So to be fair, not even the Saudi flag is raised in the Kaaba. Yes. Like, they don't play any nationalist stuff at all. Like any flag, they would take it down. They don't tolerate it.
I know, that's what I said. I said, like, to be fair, this is the Kaaba, like, so you could expect that to happen in regards to the flag. But that's why I said it's not just what this police officer did. It's also like a lot of people celebrating what this police officer did, as in, like, that's specifically against the Palestinian flag. So, yeah.
We have a lot of super chats to go through. Angie's saying, Israeli here. What?
Yeah.
And Shami gave a super chat saying, thanks for pointing out that derogatory term earlier. Yes, that is right. We do not appreciate that kind of slander and terminology towards our Pakistani community members. It's not okay. And Zaid is saying, not to be racist against my own people, but they did try to overthrow the Jordanian government back in Black September and played a major role in the Lebanese civil war. And then Sandra goes, those are just facts.
Well, okay, so no, they're partly facts. Okay, they're partially. So it is a fact that many Palestinians tried to do that and did all of these terrible things that this man was referring to. The part that we are disagreeing with, we're not disagreeing that many Palestinians did that. We're disagreeing with generalizing to every single Palestinian. Right? We cannot say like, oh, like all Palestinians are evil, all Palestinians are this, all Palestinians are that. Okay, we could be. We don't want to deny historic events that happened, but at the same time, we don't want to condemn every. So this would be guilt by association. Just because certain people with your ethnicity did something, that doesn't make you also guilty of that same crime, right? They do exist good Palestinians out there, right? It's not something that doesn't exist, okay? And that man was making it seem like that does not exist.
But the thing is, what we're trying to speak to is an attitude
Right.
that many Arabs have in the surrounding countries, that Palestinians are a fifth column wherever they are. We're trying to speak to the fact that that attitude exists.
Exists, yes. We're not saying if the attitude is right. We're just saying that the attitude does exist. You're
Gasian American gave a super chat saying, how do monarchists justify their rule over Muslims? It depends a lot on the cultural context. So in Arab societies, it's going to be very different than the combination of the imamate and the Persian monarchy. It's a different structure. But it was kind of interesting. I've been following this guy who is an Emirati, and he is a liberal Muslim against Islamism, a supporter of Israel. I don't know if he would call himself a Zionist, but he made some posts recently about how he's a monarchist, and basically, in his opinion, he does not think that democracy is a good fit for Arabs. In his words, he said that Arabs are a tribal society and they follow a just ruler. And that's why, especially as an Emirati, he follows the monarchy, which was interesting coming from someone who holds the other positions that he does. But Armin, I know you're very, very knowledgeable about this. Do you have anything you want to add?
So the understanding is that if somebody is ruling over you, some people have there's an Islamic way of understanding this when it comes, they give into deterministic view on God. Like if somebody is ruling over you, is because God has chosen them to rule over you, right? So it doesn't matter how they manage to rule over you. The fact that they're ruling over you means that they are fit to rule over you, unless there's only two conditions that allows you to rise against them. Okay, well, actually, let's make it one main conditions, because the other ones could be argued. Okay, if the ruler is upholding Sharia, if they are two conditions. First of all, if there is Islamic law is being allowed to be the law of the land. One, two, if you practicing Islam is not being meddled with. So this has been a huge topic among Sunni Muslims, even not these days, is a huge topic of infighting, right? Because a lot of Muslims, a lot of Islamists are anti the Saudi government. So they are trying to, there's a lot of fighting between Muslims online right now regarding whether is it Islamically okay to be against your government, because this has been a huge taboo, something that only people consider the Khawarij to do. Most Sunni Islamic schools of thought believe that it's not okay to rise up against your government. You should accept their ruling, even if you figure out that they're not Muslim. So here's an interesting point. Like, even if you figure out that they are faking, like they're not living Islamic lives themselves, and they're not being honest regarding their Islamic belief, it doesn't matter. And again, these made it into the hadith because the Abbasid dynasty and the Umayyad dynasty were intentionally put this in the hadith because they were trying to make sure people don't rise up against them, right? So even if they're drinking wine, even if they're having sex with, outside of what Islamically is allowed, all of that, if any of that information gets to you, you should still not rise up against them as long as they are letting you live Islamic lives and as long as the law of the land that they're supporting is Islam. So now for a lot of Muslims, for example, like Daniel Haqiqatjou, who wants to promote being against like the Saudi government, they have to somehow show that Islamic law is not being enforced in Saudi Arabia. And guess what? Justin Bieber concerts, wine now being allowed, Halloween having in Saudi Arabia, Nicki Minaj going, and like, who did Nicki Minaj go to Saudi Arabia? I don't know. Anyways,
I think she did.
Didn't go.
Or maybe she backed out after she got backlash from her.
Yeah, I think she backed out. Yeah, but all of this, all of these non-Islamic ways of living in Saudi Arabia is now giving more legitimacy to people who are saying that the Saudi government is not fit to rule Saudi Arabia, because even if they were munafiqs, now they are not even upholding Islamic law, right? Mm-hmm. So it's okay for you to rise against them. So that's what they're suggesting. So, but again, these people like Sajid Libham are saying, like, what are you doing? This is what the Khawarij promoted, and this is going to cause instability among the Ummah, among the Islamic community, and it's going to turn Muslim on Muslim. It's going to bring back the times that Muslim killed other Muslims, and they're warning against it. So this is a huge debate among the Islamic community right now online, which is very interesting. And again, the Palestinian cause helps people become more anti-Saudi. The more the Palestinian cause gets bolded, the more people pay attention to the Palestinian cause, the more Muslims will become a fan of Islamic Republic of Iran, and the more anti-Saudi they become. And this is another reason why the Saudi government hates the Palestinian cause, because it's turning Muslims around the world against the Saudi government.
Yeah, and Zaid actually was recently sending me, Saudi Arabia is now holding metal concerts and competitions in Saudi Arabia. He's like, we have Saudi metal showcases now. Oh my God. Asian American gave him a super chat. Thank you. Quoting from the oath that you made, Armin, upon receiving your citizenship to the glorious nation of Canada, quote, Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, Queen of Canada, her heirs and successors, you monarchist shill, insert eagle screeching.
Okay, he says joking, so that's not part of the oath. I know. I don't think. Okay.
So you're stuck. It's not time sensitive. You did swear fealty.
No, he says it's joking. I didn't promise anything with the heirs. I don't even remember what the oath was. And what does it even mean? Like, okay. It doesn't, it's a meaningless oath.
You must be loyal to the king.
The queen. What does that even mean?
When I got my pepper spray seized at the Canadian border, I had to relinquish it to the ownership of the king. King Charles has my pepper spray now.
Yeah, I remember.
I accidentally tried to enter Canada with what was apparently a weapon. I didn't know that was a weapon. I did not declare it at the border. Susanna made an oopsies.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. It does say to her heirs.
John gave us
Okay, so it does. The oath does says to her heirs as well. Okay, but what does bear true allegiance to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth and her heirs means? Like, what does that mean?
Allegiance, alliance, loyalty.
Okay, but what's it? Okay, what is he supposed to do?
Are you prepared to die for the king?
It's such a stupid oath. The oath should be like accepting the laws of the country, not like allegiance to the freaking queen. Like, nobody even knows what that means. It doesn't mean anything. It's such a bad oath. Anyway,
I still can't believe that that's a thing in Canadian politics. It's so weird to me. It's so weird.
Yeah.
And then when the queen dies, does that mean that, because when I go to Canada, like I see like the crest of the queen on everything, like garbage cans. I'm like, well, now the queen isn't here anymore. Do you need to replace all this with King Charles? We have to have his ugly mug all over everything? Does he have to go on the money
I mean,
now?
the queen and the king has no impact on Canadian politics.
Exactly.
I mean,
So
not
just
even.
throw it out.
So what? What is? I mean, not even Canadian politics has anything to do with the king and the queen and the king. So why, as a Canadian citizen, that means nothing for me to swear allegiance to Her Majesty. It's just take that out of the oath for. Oh my god. Anyways.
Okay, so next super chat is by John. Thank you, John, saying the KSA government policy progress has made me optimistic, but I'm uncertain on social change. There's a long ways to go. The Eden Knight case saddens me. Honestly, what are your thoughts on it? So this is a situation where a trans woman, I believe she was in her early 20s, she did a self-deletion because she was being forced to return to Saudi Arabia with her family and then forced to detransition. I mean, obviously that case itself was like very sad and tragic. In general, though, I think what people need to keep in mind is that while this is like a very, very top-down social reforms, right? And what people really need to keep in mind is that Saudi, within the past year, like imprisoned several women to like 34 years in prison for merely liking some tweets that supported women's rights and women's rights activists, right? So it's still extremely, extremely oppressive. And it sends a message. It's like, no. This comes from above. You don't get to fight for it yourself. You don't get to ask for this yourself. Like, let us be very, very clear. So
yeah, and in many senses, it has gotten worse. Okay, because when it comes to freedoms, we have three types of freedoms, right? We have social freedoms, we have economic freedom, and we have political freedom, right? And technically, without the political freedom, the two other freedoms are not are not actual freedoms. They're gifts from above that could be taken away. You only get all three forms of freedom when you actually have political freedom. Because what the king has given to you, the king can take away, unless the people have the actual power to because freedom is something that you should be taken, not something that is given from above. Because if it's given from above, it could be taken from above. But if it's taken by the people, then it cannot be taken from above. And you could take your freedoms when you have political freedom. And the problem in Saudi Arabia is that it's true that a lot of social freedoms are being given, but a lot of political freedoms are being taken. So when it comes to the social freedom realm, things are getting better. But when it comes to the political freedom realm, things are actually getting worse. Things have been worse than it has ever been in Saudi Arabia. So, you could have a concert, you could drive, women can drive a car. Some people may have a beer, and that's all great. You could have Halloween now, but dissent is crushed more than ever before.
God help you.
Dissent is crushed more than ever before. People who were against the regime, against the government, they're disappeared, killed, tortured more than before, not less than before, more than before. And the problem is that social freedoms are a lot more shiny. They're like, people pay more attention to them because, oh, look, women can like wear this. Oh, look, we have concerts. Oh, look, they have cinema. That's more interesting. But the political freedom, which doesn't get as much media attention, that is so much more essential. And when they take it away, it's much more crushed. And like, people don't like to hear about somebody being tortured in jail because they tweeted something. That's not interesting. People like to hear about it. Yes, people like to hear about a Justin Bieber concert in Saudi Arabia for the first time ever. That's exciting news.
Azalea's showing her ass. Oh my god.
Yeah, exactly.
Asian American gave a super chat that has some Chinese characters in it, which I'm assuming translates to within the 4 C's, all are siblings. That's the attitude we need. Adam and Eve gave a super chat. Thank you. Saying very interesting as always. Thank you both. Which is actually a good reminder.
Thank you.
Like the stream if you haven't liked the stream. Make sure to comment after the stream about your favorite segment. And we actually have most people watching on Twitter right now. We have like triple the
Ooh.
amount of people watching on Twitter than we have watching on YouTube right now. So if you're on Twitter, make sure to come over to our YouTube channel, Atheist Republic, subscribe, like the stream, and you can then interact with us in the live chat because we can't interact with the people on Twitter at all.
Yeah.
And
Atheist, just go on YouTube and search for Atheist Republic, and our channel will show up, and subscribe to us there.
yeah. Michelle gave a super chat saying thoughts on labor unions in the West taking up the Palestinian cause. e.g. university unions supporting the encampments. Okay, this is not entirely surprising, both because of how like basically the ideological amalgamation of left-leaning causes in which labor union rights generally fits under. But the other thing, which I saw a speaker talk about recently, I can't remember his name, is that what we need to keep in mind is that a lot of organizations adopt other causes because it helps keep them politically relevant. So let's just say, and as an example, maybe there's a transgender organization and the transgender issue maybe isn't as hot in the moment. Okay, well, what can they do to like show their donors or something that they're doing something? Okay, well, let's go show that we're supporting being on the right side of history. So we're going to like go adopt the Palestinian cause as our own, even though under basically any other circumstance, like it has nothing to do with us. So I think there's an element of that as well, like literally just trying to remain relevant and using this as a quick and easy way to do so. And Momo Joe gave a super sticker. Thank you, Mumu. Unicorn. Oh, our lovely unicorn gave us $2. Just said, thanks as always, Susan Armin. Thank you. And look at all this love we're getting. This is so sweet. Angie Unier is saying thank you and to all for the amazing community. Yes, it is people that support us by super chats, becoming members on PayPal, link in the description, members on Patreon, link in the description, people who donate that make what we do possible, and people all around the world get benefit from it.
So I don't know why it didn't show that on the StreamYard, but I'm seeing it on YouTube. There was one super chat says, "Hi." So it's by SHIT channel for you. Okay, saying, "Hi, I wonder how do Islam today treat Nule? What is this? Nule?
I don't know that. We got some weird weird super chat asking, how does Islam treat Nulu eunuchs? I had to look this up. Apparently, this is some weird body modification cult where you purposefully like self-castrate.
Yeah. How come that comment didn't show up on StreamYard? I'm concerned.
I don't know. Nulu eunuchs. Generally I would think that it would not support castrating yourself.
Well,
I don't know many movements that do promote that. That's pretty extreme.
Well, I had a stream showing you the specific things Islam lets you do with cut penises. I don't know if you saw that stream.
Oh God!
So I do.
Oh no, not that again.
Remember?
Oh God, that was traumatizing.
There's a huge instructions in Islam, detailed instructions on what types of cut penises you could insert into yourself and how to wash after. Specifically, again, just go watch that stream. It's a pretty bizarre stream.
That was upsetting. Yeah. Is that in the anal jihad episode?
Yes, it's called anal jihad.
Yeah, just look up our stream called Anal Jihad.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm not kidding. This is part of Islamic teaching.
No, I mean, and I just want to know what was going on. What was going on that they needed so many dictates about what you do with cut off penises? What was happening? What was happening? Actually, what is the context? What's relevance?
No, but it's also like it talks about animals cut penises, and it talks
Mhm.
about the age of the cut penises and the
Mhm.
length of it, and all of the instructions are not about whether you could do it or not. All of the instructions are like whether you need to wash or not wash after you insert it, depending on which hole you insert it in, and how deeply you insert it in, and how big the thing is, and what is it from? Is it from an adult? Is it from a child? Is it from an animal? Is it from a female animal? Is it from like a male animal? It's so bizarre. It's one of the most bizarre Islamic, and it goes into so much detail. And again, it never tells you don't do it. It just tells you if you insert this much, you don't need to wash. If you insert that much, you do need to wash. If it's from an animal, you do need to wash. If it's from a human below a certain age, you don't need to wash. It's so crazy. It's so crazy. Just go watch that stream.
But in what context do you need to make these decisions? What is going on in society or in some weirdo scholar's mind that they need to make these decisions? Is there chaos? What's happening? Is there chaos? Like, oh my gosh. D. So I just wanted to, before we close the show today, I just wanted to briefly comment on, can you bring up the last thing? Because I am going on a very needed vacation next week. So, and this just happened. And so I at least wanted to comment on it a teeny bit before I go away. Cause like when I come back, like Armin will do a stream next week at the same time, just I won't be here. And then when I do come back, this will be like 2 weeks old. So basically, there was a protest happening in Germany that was ostensibly against Islamism. And then some people are framing it as far right. Some people are framing it as anti-Islam. Some people are framing it as anti-Islamism, et cetera, et cetera. Some people are just framing it as Islamophobic, whatever. And basically, there was a man, from what I've seen, reportedly from Afghanistan, who came and started attacking people at this rally or at their little setup, stabbing people, stabbing police officers in the neck, because the police somehow, if you watch the footage, it's crazy. The police end up tackling to the ground, to the pavement, an innocent man who was trying to stop the attack. Meanwhile, the man with the knife is coming up behind him to stab him in the neck. And I believe that officer died. Yep. That officer died today. And I'm still waiting for a lot of more information to come out about this. But here's my initial reaction. And this is what I was saying to Armin, like on the day that this happened. I was like, this is a freaking joke. This is a freaking, and let me explain myself. Like, people, this officer dying in the line of duty is not a joke to me. Let me explain. Like, literally, it's the cry bullying. It's the cry bullying. Like, oh my God, you're having this Islamophobic protest against Islamism, and how, there's this huge movement of people that now want a caliphate in Germany. And it's so, racist and Islamophobic for you to be saying that you don't like that kind of thing and you oppose it and you oppose those movements. So I'm going to stab you. Like, it's a freaking joke. It makes fun of itself. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? And then everyone is going to be gaslit by being like, oh no, this has nothing to do with Islam. Just if you have a criticism of it, you deserve to die. But if you say that, you're so Islamophobic. Like, it's a joke that writes itself. It's stupid. It's insane. Like, that's what drives me crazy. It's like, oh my God, you're so Islamophobic for saying that we're in danger and there are some ideas that are bad. So let me kill you to prove that you're wrong. Like, the lack of self-awareness is crazy. Like, Why would anyone ever have a criticism or a negative thing to say? It's so wrong that you would have a criticism, that you would think that the teachings of my prophet are wrong, so I've got to kill you. So that's my initial reaction. That was just driving me crazy. Because then people are going to point the finger at the people who are pointing out how fucking insane, stupid that is.
I don't
appreciate like news. I mean, I don't know the group that was doing this protest. Like maybe they are legitimately far right, but
no.
Based on the history of the media, like I don't believe that they are inherently far right just because they're anti-Islam or anti-Islamism. But that's just immediately how it's painted, regardless of if that's true. It drives me insane because God forbid anyone has anything to say in criticism if they're not far right. Oh my God. Like, sorry, go ahead, Armin.
No, I actually feel very guilty because when I saw we can't show you the video. It's very graphic.
It's horrible.
And I feel guilty because I got angry at the police officer, and I felt guilty for feeling angry because he was injured. And now I feel even more guilty now that he died, because the video that shows him is like there's a Muslim guy attacking people with a knife, and the police officer jumps on one of the people who was trying to fight the Muslim guy with the knife, try to stop him, and the police officer tackles him. And then while he tackles him, the Muslim guy gets released, and the police is like stopping that hero, that guy that was risking his own life to stop the Muslim guy. And the Muslim guy just gets up, realizes that he's free right now, and when the police
stabs him in the neck, attacks him from behind.
Comes from behind and stabs the police officer in the neck, and then you see the police officer going like this and just like falling. I feel bad for feeling angry at the police officer because he paid such a heavy price for his mistake. Like I'm like, why am I feeling angry at the police officer? I don't know how I would be. I don't like in that stressful situation. I don't know what's happening. Like I might make a mistake as well. So
we all have to understand that these are things happening in split seconds, decisions made in the fractions of seconds. Well, there's like confusion everywhere. Mistakes happen, and this man paid with his life for that mistake of misidentifying who the assailant is in the fractions of a second. Feels so horrible for his family.
Insane to watch. You can see the police officer on the other guy holding him down, and the Muslim guy he was stabbing people, and now he sees that he's free, and he just gets up, and the guy with the police officer is like that. He just puts the knife shoves it right in the neck of the police officer. I was really hoping that he stays alive, but I'm sorry.
Yeah, I believe there were several other people that were injured. I don't know how critical their condition is, but it's horrible. It's horrible. So again, it's just like the irony of it. It just slaps me in the face. Like, when people do shit like this, is it not exactly proving those people who had their protest right?
By the way, YouTube, we are describing violence that happened in the news. We don't condone any of this violence. We're just discussing what's happening on the news to the people, okay? So just please don't strike us down.
Yeah.
Anyways, we should move on. Do you want to address the chat before we go?
Oh,
guys, don't forget to like
this
the stream.
This is a major shift in tone. Asian American was making a joke about the previous thing we were talking about. Thank you for the super chat, Asian American. Okay, so yeah, sorry to end on that note.
Bardo had a question. She wanted to, I don't know what she's referring to.
On PayPal shows Patreon. No, not necessarily. Maybe if you signed up for Patreon and choose to pay via PayPal, then that would happen. Did you subscribe to our Patreon or not? And if so, what was your method of payment for that? Because otherwise, this could be a completely different PayPal charge for all I know.
Yeah. By the way, thank you for everybody who's supporting us or trying to support us. Very much appreciated. By the way, guys, take a look at the super chat function right now, like right next to in live chat. It just switched from super chat right now to donation, I think, right? Did it shift? Yes.
I don't know.
You can see now. No, for people. Yes, it did. Now there's no super chat anymore. Now, if you use it, it will be a donation. But anyways, guys, thank you. So, but you don't need to donate. If you're struggling financially, or if you don't just want to spend money, you could like the stream. You could leave a comment after the stream is over. You could share this video. You could tell your friends and your enemies, especially your enemies, to come subscribe to Atheist Republic on YouTube. And you could hit the subscribe button, and also make sure you hit the bell notification, because when we go live, YouTube will not tell you that we're live if you just subscribe. You also have to hit the bell notification for it to show you that. Anyways, thank you, Susie. Thank you for preparing all of this news. Thank you, Dee. Thank you for everyone else in the Atheist Republic team that we cannot mention their name for their own safety, for helping us and preparing all of this. And yeah, thank you for keeping us informed.
It takes a village.
Takes all right. I'm gonna go get ready for tomorrow or the day after. I'm gonna go prepare some shows, guys. It's not just the new stream that we do. Okay, I do a lot more other streams during this week, so if you're new here, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell notification on Atheist Republic on YouTube. If you're watching this anywhere else, come to YouTube, search for Atheist Republic, and make sure you subscribe to us there, because that's where all the activities and all the engagement and all the comments happen in the live chat. So make sure you come over there. Anyway, guys, bye.
Bye.